El Hornet from Pendulum comes, he always makes a stop to see what cool vinyls he can get. Wasn't that usually like a meetup spot for these?
Yeah,
guys?
so Play the Record was the hub during the 90s.
Yeah.
I remember Thursday nights is when they get the new shipment of records. So every Thursday night at like 5 or 6 p.m., there would be a huddle of people at the back of Play the Record, and we're all there waiting to hear the latest tracks. Sometimes DJ Marcus Visionary would be working in the back playing the tracks. Sometimes Jason Palma. There are a few other names which I forgot, but so you would request to hear, oh, I want to hear that track and that track.
Mhm.
What else do you have this Thursday? And they play one by one. If you like the track, I want one of those. Put it in my stack. I want one of those. Put it in my stack. And then at the end of the night, you have a stack of records you want to buy. Some of them are white labels. There's no names or titles in them. They're just fresh, and no one has ever played them before.
Kids
And
these days have it easy, right?
yeah, it's super easy. Yeah, I agree. And with applying to everything, I always encourage people that are learning to learn all styles, because the more styles and approaches you think about, the better a producer you become. It's like widening your perspective. So, yeah.
It's easier to get into like your flair into the song when you know so many, because if you are, I think for me, what I think is if you're targeting one single genre way too long, you tend to find things to copy rather than try.
Well,
to
you're
invent them.
regurgitating ideas,
Yeah.
whereas if you expand your horizon and knowledge, you can bring in ideas from all over.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I just never thought I would have met him. Like that show I went to.
Oh,
like,
yeah,
I was
Did
like,
you know
no,
I was from Canada?
I didn't know you were from Canada. I thought you were just one of the headliners, like that, alongside like Mars.
You know what? I can relate to that, because I know you have UK recognition. A lot of artists do follow your tutorial. Once again, you have 100K people.
Yeah.
There are artists out there in the UK, around the world, following you.
Yeah.
So like I could see his perspective. Saying,
yeah.
like,
I was
holy
like,
shit, he's from Toronto.
He's from Toronto. He's like,
Yeah,
bro,
yeah.
like, no way. And he's like, he smashed it. He was like,
I had FOMO missing out, but like once again, Andy sees
he'll be back next year.
he'll be back next year. He'll be back the year after.
Yeah.
He'll probably be back
He's
at
here
the end of
twice a
this
year.
year.
I've seen him at maybe like 10 different venues over the
I keep
years.
telling people, cause like, you know, like I'm like pretty much here alone. My family's like in Hong Kong and England. I told them that I've seen Andy see more than I've seen my family in the past few years. So like, you know, I'm definitely gonna see him again. But I can't make it last week because you know I had a show, so I couldn't go. Then.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Back and Body Hurts podcast, where we talk about all things EDM. Thanks for tuning in to this week's episode. In this week's episode, we're focusing all things DNB, Toronto edition though, since we're from Toronto.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna introduce the host for this week. I'm your host Sunny. To my right is Ekern.
Hey guys.
And for those of you who might be new to the world of drum and bass, the Toronto scene has a rich history. Like we go back to like the 90s, right? We're
Yeah,
one of the
early
world-
90s.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're definitely one of the world premiere locations, but it is still a niche genre. So, but the community is very dedicated and passionate. So we'll definitely touch upon that in this episode, especially with the growing rise of DNB popularity in North America. And joining us today, we're excited to introduce two well-known figures in our DNB community, the father and son duo, STRANJAH
sir.
and SZETO.
What's going on, guys?
So yeah, just a bit. Both have shared the stage with a lot of good international headliners. They're obviously releasing content in the local community as well, working with a lot of collectives and prominent drum and bass organizations. So we're excited to share their thoughts about the local scenes, their experiences, general takes for the DNB scene, and maybe some spicy content too about some of these.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, STRANJAH,
What's
I guess
going
we'll
on, Sonny?
how's it going?
I'm all right. Yeah.
We'll start with you because your DNB history is rich in the city.
Sure.
Yeah, you want to? When did you get introduced to the scene?
So I got into dance music. Like, if you want to talk about house, right, underground dance music, then I got into house in 1996. Back then, all the high school kids were going to parking lot raves, and
The underground was real, right?
oh yeah, it was yeah, like literally underground parking lots and all that. And so one of my buddies from junior high, who I haven't seen for a couple years, he came over in 1996, and he's like, "Alan, you gotta hear this house music. It's incredible." and he's like, I went to this rave, and it was in an underground parking lot, and everyone was dancing, doing crazy stuff, and it went until like 6 or 7 a.m., and it was the most insane vibe ever. I'm like, I was so intrigued when he told me about this, because before that I was into Eurodance music, right? So
Hmm.
in the early 90s, like Eurodance was super popular, and that was my introduction to into more, I guess, electronic sounds. But when he told me about this house, it was like, it was different. It was more underground. And then I was like, I need to know about this. It's like, this sounds like way cooler than what everyone's playing on the radio.
It's also one of those things. It's just like someone introduced you to it, but no one else around you knows about it, right? Because it's underground,
Yeah. It
right?
was underground, and at that time we didn't have the internet, so like
Yeah.
you
It's all word of mouth.
It's all word of mouth. So I'm like, what is this? What is this? So he gave me the CD. It was called Warehouse Grooves, 1995 or something. It had some of the top house songs in the 90s, like the Bucketheads, These Sounds. What was that song called? Bucketheads. I forgot the name of the track. Some Armin van Helden tracks, some
Mhm.
Josh Wink tracks. I put it on. I was like, man, this stuff sounds so underground. It was minimal. It was just raw. It was just drums and just a vocal. I'm like, this is nuts. And I'm like, I need to know how to make this music. I want to do this,
Mhm.
right? Because I've always wanted to be involved with music since I was a childhood, but I didn't play any instruments classically. So when I heard about this music, I was intrigued. I was like, how is this music made? The problem was, in the 90s, because we didn't have internet, it was hard to find any information about it.
Mhm.
And however, during that time, something called the bulletin board systems started to pop up. Do you know what that is?
No, but does it involve like more forums too? Because I know
Yeah,
forums are
yeah.
popping
So
off of.
bulletin board systems are kind of like local internet systems, like locally
Yeah.
in Toronto. And each bulletin board system had a specific community and topic. So I think it was in Now magazine. You can find out in the back of Now magazine, like in those like classifieds, they'll list all these BBSs you can connect to. And I read this one. It's called The Club for Dance Music. Dial this number with your dial-up modem, and you'll connect. And that time, my dad just got a modem for us, and we were experimenting with that. So
Mhm.
I dialed into The Club BBS, and then I was introduced to this crazy community of like people that was into house music,
Mhm.
people that were DJs and producers, and that's where I met my first mentors, and where I got my first music creation software, and kind of just started that way. Started making house music in '96.
It didn't. Wasn't it also prominent for like vinyl stores? Like we have a big popular player to records that I think is world round. Though I know when was it El Hornet from Pendulum comes, he always makes a stop to see what cool vinyls he can get. Wasn't that usually like a meetup spot for these
Yeah,
guys?
so Play the Record was the hub during the 90s.
Yeah.
I remember Thursday nights is when they get the new shipment of records. So every Thursday night at like 5 or 6 p.m., there would be a huddle of people at the back of Play the Record, and we're all there waiting to hear the latest tracks. Sometimes DJ Marcus Visionary would be working in the back playing the tracks. Sometimes Jason Palma. There are a few other names which I forgot, but so you would request to hear, oh, I want to hear that track and that track.
Mhm.
What else do you have this Thursday? And they play one by one. If you like the track, I want one of those. Put it in my stack. I want one of those. Put it in my stack. And then at the end of the night, you have a stack of records you want to buy. Some of them are white labels. There's no names or titles in them. They're just fresh, and no one has ever played them before.
Kids
And
these days have it easy, right?
yeah, it's super
Yeah.
easy.
It's a real jungle back then.
Beatport,
Yeah, yeah.
pre-Juno
Yeah.
download.
Yeah. Back then it was a vinyl record, one song on each side, and you had to pay like $15 at that time, which would probably be like $30 nowadays
Yeah.
for just one record. We'd spend so much just on buying records.
You must have a strong back. carrying all those plastics.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, I gotta go play a show. That's like 30.
It was
kilograms
an actual physical workout to play.
Please, no one jump me.
Yeah,
please.
It was an actual workout because you carry these crates. The crates themselves were heavy because they were made of metal, and then you have 50 records on each crate, and you're carrying 2 of them to the club. I remember just carrying them down to the docks just on my own. I was like, got big biceps for doing that.
Yeah. So when did you start, like, you got into the scene, did you start producing or DJing right away?
Yeah, I started producing first, right, in 96, but shortly after, because I met the owner of the club BPS. His name is Dope Groove from Scarborough. He was my first mentor. He was a deep house producer. And I started making my first house tracks. I sent him my very first creation. He was like, wow, I think you have a special talent. I've never heard someone like make a full track, their first track ever. And it sounds all right. I think you have potential. We should link up. So I linked up with Dope Groove, and I met him and his mates. And it was like at his friend's house in Scarborough. They're having a barbecue. And he's like, yo, I have some decks in the back. Why don't you try mixing, right? Like, mixing? What's that? How do you do that? He had like 2 belt-driven records in his garage and a mixer. He was playing house. He was like, try to mix this. I'm like, okay, all right, okay. I'm like, okay, you gotta match the BPM. You gotta slow the record. I'm like, okay. I was struggling. First time ever playing with turntables, but I was trying to figure it out. And that was the early beginnings.
Crazy.
Yeah.
And then from there, like, as you saw, so did you keep producing, or did you start looking at gigs, or?
I was probably producing for about 3 years before I actually started doing gigs.
It's still your heart and soul.
Producing is my heart. I mean, DJing I was still super interested in it. I got my own immediately after that night. I got my own 2 turntables. Like, I used one of my dad's, and I bought a second-hand one. My dad got me a Radio Shack, like 4-channel mixer. I started trying to learn how to mix off of belt-driven turntables. But making music has always been my main thing, my main passion.
That's and it shows in your YouTube, right?
Awesome.
When I was at your 100K party, which was like really cool to see.
Cool.
But when did you start the YouTube? When did you think, after all this, like, you're obviously making tracks? Did you ghost produce for anyone?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. I've always produced for myself.
Okay.
I've been asked to do ghost producing, but with my time, I'd rather spend time writing for myself. So yeah.
Fair.
Your question about YouTube, I started that be about 5 years now.
5 years.
Yeah.
And it's just
5 years
taken
doing
off.
it full time. Yeah. I'm very grateful position. I started when I started, I already had a network, an audience from doing music over the years, so I was able to leverage off my audience and bring them over to YouTube. So
jumpstart.
And just
Yeah.
touching upon, like, the networks you created, like, obviously, in, like, we talked about the 90s, the 2000s. How were the 2000s for you overall, like, in terms of, like, the local scene?
Yeah, so in 1999 was when I got my first record signed in the UK to a label called Flex Records, one of the foundational jungle drum and bass labels in the UK, run by L Double. Back then, that was when the internet just started to pop off, and finally I was able to search and research and look up labels. So I found this label, Flex Records, and I sent them my date. I contacted them by email and asked them, hey, I want to get signed. How do I send a demo? And they sent me their mailing address. Right.
Wow.
I think I sound
And you send a whole vinyl.
sound like a dinosaur.
All
here,
you new
but-
DJs, don't complain.
Yeah.
About the process these
I was
days.
still a sperm that time. I didn't know drum and bass. What?
Yeah, so you would have to. I think at that time it wasn't even CDs. I don't think we had CD
No, it wasn't.
writers at time. So
It was
I
like
had-
cassette tapes,
I had to
think.
go to Long and McQuaid and borrow what's called a DAT recorder, which is a digital audio tape recorder. It's a huge unit. Rented that unit for the weekend just so I can record a bunch of demos onto a digital tape and then mail it over to England. And a week after, the intern Herf got back to me. He was like, "Oh, I love your tunes. I think we want to sign some of your music." And then that was when I got my first record signed on Flex. Tracks are called Freezing Point and Troublemaker, 1999. And and then it kind of snowballed into the 2000s when I got some more signings. I started working with Gremlins and had some big signings there as well.
Yeah, we'll definitely talk about our local scene
Yeah,
too,
yeah.
because all these, they're all legends in the local scene. They're
Mhm.
still kicking it and still
Mhm.
hosting parties,
Mhm.
which is awesome. That's good. And then obviously you started the YouTube. So then how are I felt like EDM explosion really happened in like the early 2010s, like
Yeah.
here.
The-
How was that for you? Because
Yeah,
I mentioned my introduction to drum and bass was during Bass Week.
Yeah, here's the thing. Like for us heads that came before the EDM explosion, we kind of hate that term EDM because we never called it EDM. We just
Mm.
called it
Yeah.
our music, house music, drum and bass music, or underground music,
Mm.
right? So when you say EDM explosion in the 2010s, to us, actually, the music was actually bigger in 1998 to 1999, especially for drum and bass when we would have raves, like drum and bass raves with 10,000, 20,000 people at the International Center or at the Better Living Center at CNE where Ronnie Size, Andy C headlined, right?
Mm.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean it's all relative, but for us, like we'll never forget the 90s because to us those were the original years and it was super massive even in those early days.
I was told that if in order for you to find raves in the 90s, you have to call a particular number.
Yeah, so what would happen is you probably would get the flyers from
Yeah.
Play the Record, and the flyer would have a phone number which you would call, and the day of or the night of, you would call into a voice line or a buzzer, and they'll reveal the location on the day of.
Because were these illegal?
Probably. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, probably.
Or just they didn't want as much
They
notoriety.
probably
to be out
didn't
there.
want to get shut down there. I mean, they were at warehouses. They were, like I said, they were at parking lots. So I'm not sure if they were completely legit. So definitely it had to be low key about it.
Yeah.
Oftentimes, if you didn't have a way to get to these sites,
No
because
Uber?
usually it's far away.
No Uber. Yeah.
No,
yeah.
there's taxis.
Oh, there's taxis.
Yeah, there was
What-
taxis, but the meeting point, you'd call in this number, they'll give you the location, and they'll say, or you can meet us at Nathan Phillips Square at 9 p.m. There'll be a shuttle bus that takes you to the location. So
Damn.
I think my
Shuttle
second,
bus.
yeah,
Wow.
Yeah.
second or third rave I went to, I took one of those. I went to Nathan Phillips Square, and there were like 30 other ravers just sitting by the front on Queen Street, and we were all just talking and getting to know each other, and then the bus came
The
in.
bus came.
That's crazy.
As a bonding moment. It's actually
Yeah.
as I said, like, we mentioned a kind of time, man. People these days don't really appreciate
Yeah.
how
Yeah,
much.
they don't.
Right?
Even when I started in like 2010, like it was a mission to even go to like the government, right? Because Uber wasn't there.
Yeah.
You had to rely on taxis. You had to rely on like
Yeah.
someone driving. Cell phones where you had one,
There's
but you
no
couldn't. But it's not as convenient as pulling it out and like
yeah.
yeah. But like it's even back in the 90s,
Yeah.
man.
You get a real appreciation of how things are done once you do everything manual.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
From production to going to raves, everything.
You waiting for the 510? Nah, I'm actually waiting for the acid rave later.
Yeah.
man. Oh yeah, same. Yeah, those moments, I think that would make that's like what like kind of make the community
Yeah.
strong. It's like
Yeah.
once because like whenever like, I'm going to like the warehouse place McCormack, you know,
Yeah. Or TBA warehouse.
the TBA warehouse, you know, TBA warehouse, TBA venue. I when I was taking the bus up from I think it's Finch Station,
Yeah.
is one of
Yeah.
them, right? Yeah. And then every time like I see someone that's like kind of like, you know, got like little man bag and then with a bucket hat, I'm like, yo, you're going to see like you're going to see Turney and sound tonight. I was like, yeah, it's sick. And then it's just like, you know, more and more people start to converge on that road. It's like those moments, it's like make rave special. It's like,
Yeah.
when you go to a club, you don't ask, yo, are you ready to listen to some top 40? Oh my god, you know, like don't say that. in the
Well,
club,
I
you know?
enjoy that when I go to another city because everyone's normal, and then all of a sudden you're on that route to the venue, and you're just like, "Who's a raver?"
Yeah,
And then
exactly.
You
You're
just
like
see that one person. You're like, it's
Yeah.
like I had that when I was in Manchester last year, and I'm just like, I was going to a festival, and I was on their tram system, and I'm just like, everyone's normal, and here I
Uh-huh.
am, bucket hat, my fan on the side, and I'm just
Yeah.
standing there, and then couple stations down, I finally see a raver walk in. I'm just and we look at each other like, yeah, we're
You
going.
know. You know when you
That's
know.
what
You know, yeah.
But okay, so circling back to your YouTube, you just want to mention a bit about the YouTube and obviously the Instagram too right now. Like the
Yeah, it's
tutorial-
and
popping
TikTok,
off. It's
yeah.
popping
the
off.
the tutorials you're doing are great.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Like even as someone who doesn't DJ, I've always watched your stepper videos and I'm just like, oh, this is so
That-
Mhm.
for anyone who's like an artist, definitely check them out because it's informative even if you don't spin drum and bass. It's just like how cool it is to just make simple beats and see how it transitions into a full song to be
Yeah.
applied to anything.
Yeah, I agree. And with applying to everything, I always encourage people that are learning to learn all styles because the more styles and approaches you think about, the better a producer you become. It's like widening your perspective. So,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's easier to get into like your flair into the song when you know so many, because if you are, I think for me, what I think is if you're targeting one single genre way too long, you tend to find things to copy rather than try
Well,
to
you're
invent stuff.
regurgitating ideas,
Yeah.
whereas if you expand your horizon and knowledge, you can bring in ideas from all over.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I watched the one where you had the dimension step, like call the dimension, like how he does that for the Raver song. Yeah, but like it's like that because he was the one who did it,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
he's the one. His songs are the most familiar with that, so it's really
Yeah,
cool where he
yeah.
takes it and like you see these artists big now, but you don't. A lot of them like especially like like for drum and bass, Wilkinson Sub Focus when they did that joint album together, the
Yeah.
amount of instruments they use and their music knowledge,
Yeah.
like yeah, they're sick DJs, they make sick tracks, but like the amount of it's all a grind. It's like everything builds up to time, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think the journey of a musician and a producer is never ending. It's a continual journey. It's almost like a journey of self-improvement and self-development. Because if you're passionate about it, you always want to find ways to improve and better yourself and better your music.
Mm-hmm.
Well said.
Well said.
Yeah.
Well said.
I remember
Yeah.
told you like you told me like what if ever one day you feel like you made a banger and you're happy with it and there's nothing that you can change. You told me I remember just quit music.
If you feel like
it's
there's
not
nothing
good.
more that you can learn, it just means
You're like that's like you
you're
can only go
stubborn
so
and
far.
you're
stubborn.
gonna stop
No, it's
growing.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You only
yeah.
go so far, you know.
Yeah,
Wise words from the father.
Exactly.
So I want to move on to the son figure in this father-son duo.
Yeah.
So we'll get on the father-son thing. We'll touch upon that a bit more, but it's a funny thing in the community because now I think both you guys are known well for it.
Yeah.
As with SZETO said earlier, while STRANJAH was making records, releasing, he was still a sperm. So
Exactly.
so SZETO, what was your introduction into the scene? Like when?
So to the music, I want to start with like how I got into the music first, kind of like bass music in general, where I kind of like navigated my way, like finding the love of drum and bass. So I remember when I was about the 2010 period,
Mhm.
Skrillex was massive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Skrillex.
Like for me,
is-
just to touch upon that, like I started with the UKF days, with the YouTube
Oh,
uploads
same,
for the
same,
UKF. Like
same.
I was the only, just how I was the only kid in my high school listening to the UKF sounds.
Nice.
Same.
So
Cool.
for
Same.
me, like my origins has been trance and drum and bass because trance was prominent back then,
Yeah.
and drum and bass because
Yeah, yeah.
liquid was my studying music. Or like
Nice.
jungle was my studying music. So I was like listening
Right
to
on.
it. But then I remember that just as the Skrillex thing, like that UKF days, I was like, when's the next upload? When's the next upload? When's the
Exactly.
next
You're,
upload?
you're camping on YouTube, like waiting for them to do it on the video. I was like, yeah. So yeah, back to how I got into it. My cousin showed me this track. I remember it's Gold Dust, Flux Pavilion remix. And before listening to that, I was listening to I don't know, the pop music, like Canto pop, like the most local Hong Kong stuff. I grew up there. So,
Yeah, you grew up in Hong Kong, right?
Very, very local music. Then guess what happened? My cousin showed me Gold Dust Flux Pavilion remix. I was like, this is demonic. This is crazy. This is insane to be listening through a headphones right now on my transit to school. Like it shouldn't be legal.
Yeah.
And then like the more I say I hate it, but the more times it's looping in my headphones. So I started finding like what kind of music is that? And then you know what? As much as you guys old heads hate about the term EDM, it really opened a lot of doors for us to like
Yeah,
find more stuff. You know, you have the surface trap, you know, like all that kind of like trap EDM stuff. You know, have the prog stuff, you know, like Alan Walker, that kind of stuff. But the EDM terminology brought me into like a lot of the big tunes.
The same for me. Same for me.
Yeah.
Same for me.
And then I was like, you know, I found that song. I was listening to like some Skrillex and all that, and I was not too comfortable with my own music taste because everyone around me is listening to like the most normal thing on earth. Because you know,
for me it was it was rap and hip hop for sure during that time. Like all that stuff, everyone was listening to that. I'm just like, or like rock, and I'm just like listening.
So I just feel like, you know, I shouldn't jam with that stuff because like people are singing the lyrics and I don't know anything. All I go in my head is like, you know, like, I was like, I can't sing that shit out loud. You know, it doesn't work like that.
It's essentially you're just doing this.
Yeah, exactly. And you're like, yes, this is nasty.
The
beats,
bass, the
hand motions.
Yeah, I don't know how to describe it. And then fast forward, I moved to England after I, you know, kind of like found that I loved the music. I kind of gave up for a bit. I was like, I'm going to listen to normal music, going to rap, drill big time, you know, going to like, you know, those music a lot. I like rap. It's like, it's a crazy.
And it's huge
beat,
in the UK.
You know, exactly. You know, crazy flows, lyrics, and you know, and then kind of like when I was about 17, I believe 16, 17. Yeah. I went to school in England, so that's pretty much how I got into drum and bass. That's like a big fast forward.
Yeah.
But my mate, one of the dorm mates, bought decks and started mixing drum and bass. And I was like, what is this? I don't know what is this, but you know, it's cool. My friend's doing it. You know, I gotta go support him, you know, go watch him play and you know, like, you know, enjoy it with him. And then like, you know, start finding like, oh, UK bass music is so sick. There's more than Central C. There's like, you know, big tunes coming out from like these like underground. What is this? And I got into Bassline actually. Bassline was the first like genre that I got into.
What year was that?
That was probably like 2007.
Okay.
I can't remember.
Okay.
But around that time, it's like bassline, drum and bass. Don't know what they are yet. I just call them like UK electronic music, like in my head. And then I got into bassline, listening to a lot of like Holy Goof, you know, Old Notion. Yeah, like the Old Notions, Bassline, Sammy Virgie, you know, Flavor D.
That stuff was kicking it already in the UK.
That's like you guys just realizing the days, like back in the days, man. You know, it's
already popping.
Everyone's listening to that stuff.
Well, we always say on the panel, North America always lags behind Europe for anything.
I know. It's a shame. It's
it
gonna
is
take
what it
time, but like it is what it is.
Yeah.
And then after that COVID hit, I bought decks as well because I was bored, you know. COVID got a lot of us bored AF, so we gotta like find something to do. So I bought decks, learned how to mix drum and bass, and I kind of gave up for a bit because what
made you choose drum and bass other than like this?
Because my mate was playing.
And so you just wanted to. You didn't think of any other genre to want to play.
No, and I just like it the most. It's fast.
Yeah,
it's nice. It's like rollers, like 2018, 2017 roller infestation. Everyone's playing the biggest folk horn, like Magic Carpet by Boo. You know, like that. Bang, like that kind of sound. I was like, this is crazy, man. This is crazy.
It gives you a lot of variety. We'll definitely talk about like DJing drum and bass because it gives you the most variety. And I think me personally, I'm like, if I wanted to spin a genre, it would be drum and bass, even though I consider it probably the hardest. To get your fit in. Well, we'll talk a bit about that. But
And then I kind of gave up because my ex didn't really like drum and bass. Like my girlfriend at the time didn't like drum and bass, so I just kind of like, I'm gonna stop. I'm moving to Canada anyways to like do my uni. Thank you. I was like, okay, I sold my decks, kind of like just like, you know, think like school. School is my top priority now. And then I got really bored because like first year I was just going clubbing and like, you know, doing all that, you know, frat parties and stuff. And it's just like, and I met a mate, shout out my boy Tatham. He's like another Brit I met here, and he loves drum and bass. And we met each other through school, and then he's great. He loves this music, just like I love it too. And then we just kind of start finding out raves and stuff. And then we met here, like Alan's friend at Long and McQuaid, while we were renting speakers for a frat party.
Oh, really?
And we were like just talking like they were, because like we like, you know, we know our music, because like most frat parties, they don't rent a sub, but like I think he noticed like we rent a sub. They're like, oh, these guys really doing frat party with a sub, and they was like, and then we just kind of like the conversation went along, just like found out that he makes drum and bass.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
We
okay.
love drum and bass. And then he paid him like an email flyout or event. So it's kind of like the whole phone situation. Like get added to this email mail out group so to receive all
Which one was that?
the
Do you remember?
if you know, It's
Oh, okay, it's one of
It's one of
those.
those.
Okay,
Yeah.
it's one of those.
So it's like because that's just like straight after COVID. Everyone's kind of like still like
Oh,
straight,
okay,
you know.
yeah.
And then we found out about raves and stuff. Went to Ace's event for the first time. It was like a liquid drum and bass thing. And honestly, like, I love Ace, I love Toronto drum and bass, but like I just feel like, wow, this is like Toronto really, like you said earlier, they're like a few years behind in terms of sound and stuff.
Mhm.
And then I was like, okay, this is not really rave I like. This is like really unfamiliar. And then after that, I found about Roost. Because basically there's an artist I really like. His name's 4K. I don't know if you guys heard of him.
I've heard of it.
But he suddenly got called up to play a show here as a replacement.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to that show alone. And then no one there knew who he was. It was like a 20 people, 30 people room. But I was skanking off because I was like, yo, he's playing all the sounds I know I'm familiar with.
Yeah.
So like he saw me going off at the front. It was like,
Yeah.
this kid is special. Like it's like no one else knows
Yeah.
his songs. And then I was like, and then I spoke to him afterwards, and he was like, you know what, man, it's hard to like find DNB here. Like I like, it's like similar to the UK sound that I'm used to. And he was like, you know what, just play music yourself and just DJ. And I was like, should I? And I was kind of like all like, few drinks in, I was like,
Yeah.
whatever, should I? And I actually committed. He kind of like convinced me to start DJing again. So I bought my decks again. And then from that moment, I kind of overcame that. You remember the confidence in my music taste
Mhm.
moment? At that moment, I kind of just overcame it. I was like, I don't care.
Yeah.
If I like this music, I like this music. You don't have to like my music, but I'm
Yeah.
going to tell you how much I like it, and you will like it one day.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
then from
exactly.
that point onwards, I just started DJing more seriously.
So you know what? The energy is infectious, is what I always say. If
Yeah.
you enjoy what you're doing behind the decks, that energy, especially in drum and bass, will translate right to the crowd. If you're hyped,
Mhm.
I'm hyped.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And honestly, it works probably the best in drum and bass, I would find. And
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
for sure.
Yeah. So that's how I got into DJing, and then met him at like a show. Is it Justin Hawks?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I was booked to play the show for, I think I was opening up for Justin Hawks, Muzz, and the Upbeats. And
yeah.
I was
Great.
playing the second
Yeah.
slot of the night, 11 to 12. I walk in, and then I walk up the stage to get ready, and then I see this Chinese kid up at the front, and he calls me over because like in the drum and bass scene, when you see another fellow Chinese kid, it's like an instant connection because
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
It's,
you're
it's,
like-
it's
you don't-
not.
because
Yeah.
there's so few of us in the drum and bass scene.
That's true.
It is true.
like-
It is
Yeah.
true.
Immediately there's camaraderie and brotherhood, right,
Yeah.
and kinship. So
I was just for me, I was
Yeah.
fanboying.
yeah, he came up to me and say, "Are you Hong Kong?" Yeah, I'm like, "Yeah, my parents are from Hong Kong."
Yeah, because I was like, when I was like 17 or 18, just got into drum and bass. I didn't even know how to produce and mix or anything. But I was watching his video, seeing him like, was it 2018, 2019?
I started late 2019.
Yeah, 2019. That was about the time where I like just got really into the music. I was watching his videos. It was like him like breaking down Amen part. I saw like he had like a release on DNB All Stars or something. I was like, okay, this guy's sick, man. But yeah, I just never thought I would have met him. Like that show I went to.
Oh,
like,
yeah,
I was
Did
like,
you know
no,
I was from Canada?
I didn't know you were from Canada. I thought you were just one of the headliners like that, just like alongside like Muzz.
You know what? I can relate to that because I know you have UK recognition. A lot of artists do follow your tutorial. Once again, you have 100K people.
Yeah.
There are artists out there in
Yeah.
the UK around the world following you.
Yeah.
So like I could see his perspective saying
yeah.
like,
I was
holy
like-
shit, he's from Toronto.
Yeah.
He's from Toronto. He's like,
Yeah,
bro,
yeah.
like, no way. And he's like, he smashed it. He
Yeah.
was like, he was playing all the like good drum and bass songs that like, I like, the UK sound. He like, I don't know what happened. It's like,
And he was singing. I was watching while I was DJing. I was like, this kid's singing along to every track. He knows every track that I'm playing. Who is this
Wait,
guy?
did you you see the Chinese kid while you were DJing, but you didn't know
No,
that
I
he
was
there?
stepping. I was stepping up.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
I was asking for a picture. I was like, can I grab a quick
Oh.
picture of you?
Yeah, right before I went on. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, no way. And then just like, I asked for his like contact. I was like, yo, let's go grab a drink, man. I would like definitely want to do more shows and like push for the music. And then I just kind of sent him like a mix, and then he was like, yo, yeah, that's fun. And then we got booked to play it back to back.
Yeah.
Oh, that was like just like that. Like,
Just
Well,
like that.
no, not
Is
like
that-
that. I
okay,
mean,
like
he's
that,
giving
not
you the
like
short
that.
story,
I've
but
given-
he
Okay.
sent me the mix. I was like, yo, you have potential. I think that there's a few things here I think you could improve on to get better, to be, to be sick. And then we were like talking about music. I was like, what?
Yeah.
He asked me what kind of jump up I like. I was like, I'm feeling this guy Oakley. I'm feeling SZETO. I said, yeah, I love these guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're getting connected. We're like, we like the same artist.
He's the first guy I know in Toronto that likes jump up.
Yeah.
Mm.
That I know that likes jump up.
we just did an episode on Jack of all trades, and I
Yeah.
know you, Stranja, are definitely a Jack of all trades in the drum and bass scene. I know you can cater to the crowd with your history.
I love to. I love to just play what's right for the moment.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really good.
For
Yeah.
me, it's just more like I play what I like.
Yeah.
And, When either way, as long as you're having fun doing it,
Yeah,
and you
exactly.
enjoy doing it,
Yeah.
especially like having someone come up to you after a set, like for anyone we talk to, is always the greatest feeling in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially because they're there for you. They love the tracks you're playing. It's
Oh,
just
yeah.
a big confidence
Yeah.
boost.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of sad that Justin Hawks came to Canada and I'm not there.
Mm.
Yeah, you missed it. Justin Hawks.
It
Hit me
was
back.
a good. It
Yeah,
was
it
a
was
really
a-
good set. It was
just-
a really
uh,
good set.
Yeah. Every DJ was good that night.
Yeah,
Yeah.
every DJ was good. Honestly, Justin Hawks is like, I find he's too underrated for the local.
Oh,
like,
super,
so,
super.
like his production and his
Yeah.
soundscape, so good. Like his sets you go to is just soul fire. So
Who
good.
even thought about putting country and drum and bass together? Come on, like,
Yeah,
just
yeah,
think about it. Like,
Gold,
this is
yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
you gotta be like really love like music to like
Yeah,
think
yeah.
about a combination. Like,
And then
I-
just he also had that. Unfortunately, he started as Feint. Was it Feint? Splice.
a
Flight.
Yeah. Yeah.
Flight,
Yeah. And then he had to
Yeah, yeah.
rebrand and all
Yeah.
that stuff,
Yeah.
which is annoying, but
Yeah, but
unfortunately,
there
it
was
is.
there's an OG by the name of Flight, so
Yeah,
it,
so-
it makes sense.
Yeah,
I
know.
only know Justin Hawks because I went to Tomorrowland last year and he was there. That's why I
Oh,
went and
okay.
Was
saw
he
him.
sick?
Yeah, he was sick.
I
He
bet
was
he
sick.
was, man. I bet
Yeah.
he
don't
was.
miss a Justin Hawks set, guys.
Yeah.
Don't
Yeah,
miss Justin Hawks set.
very unique.
Okay, so we kind of touched. So how did now I want to ask how did the father and son, I guess local community knows you as the father and son duo, and you guys have kind of played off of it too. When did that start? Like obviously you guys started talking. You guys mentioned the back to back you guys did.
Yeah, that was like really later on.
That was
and-
it.
Yeah,
and-
yeah.
and-
We didn't play back to back until like probably a year after. We were just getting to know each other as friends, and we
Yeah.
just loved the music, right? I think we were just trading music and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, like hanging out a lot, just kind of like just hang out a lot.
Yeah,
We actually like whenever we're not doing music, we go eat.
yeah. We
Yeah.
love
if you,
food.
if you guys want to like want some food recommendation, like you don't want any drum and bass tips from him, fair enough. Ask him for food tips because this guy knows his food very well,
yeah.
just like his drum and bass. It's really crazy. Like we
Spin-off
have-
channel? Maybe
Huh?
spin-off channel or your Instagram?
We
Yeah,
might-
Alan
I'm
Eats?
saying, bro.
Yeah.
I'm saying you
Alan,
should start
Stranger
food
Eats.
vlog,
Stranger,
you know?
Stranger
Yeah.
Eats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could have the other side.
Yeah.
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 No,
So like,
I love my food for sure.
True
like,
Hong Kong.
How did that all take off? So I believe it was you did your 100K party. You put me on the bill.
Oh, right. Yeah.
It must have been then because after I kept hearing it and then I kept seeing it, it must have been exactly right
Yeah.
then.
Yeah, I don't know. It kind of just happened naturally because like Jack was coming to me for advice, and it grew into this relationship where I was kind of mentoring.
Yeah.
Right. If
Yeah.
I can say that. And Jack was really going hard in the scene. He was doing well. He was getting gigs, just really working hard, putting himself out there. I was like, this kid has like super genuine passion about the music and raw talent. I want to invest in him because he's really genuine about it. And someone who's passionate about the music and has talent and is genuine about it, that's really special. And you don't come across that a lot in this
Yeah.
music.
Yeah.
And when I
Stop,
noticed
I'm gonna
that, I was
start
like,
crying now. Like,
yeah.
That's good.
And
That's
then,
it.
yeah. The first time it got booked was
Was it the ruckus thing? The
the New
Yeah,
Year's
yeah.
Eve ruckus signal thing at the
Or was it the
Theory.
block party?
block
See,
party.
it's all blurred in
Yeah, it's
my
all
head.
blurred because it just all happened.
Yeah, it,
'cause
and
we're
it all
so
naturally happened
busy.
because you
Yeah,
guys became
exactly.
friends, and then
Yeah.
obviously you're looking to him as a mentor as well.
Yeah,
too.
I never really like. If you ask me, I never really thought like I would be sitting next to him, like doing this right now, playing a show.
That's
making tunes
crazy,
together.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
looking back, like I would have never thought like about that.
not-
It just all happened. Like it's hard for me to even pull out what happened. How did this all happen?
It's organic.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
all
And
organic.
that's what I
Yeah,
like
yeah.
about it. Is it happened
Yeah.
organically. There was no agenda. We just friends
It's not
getting
like,
to know
oh,
each other.
We can go with this like thing and market ourselves.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that. It's
no.
kinda
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
yeah.
It's just, and then I think it was just like people just kind of like, you know, I was like, oh, so is that your son? Man? It's
I
like,
think-
yeah.
I think one night we were joking. I'm like, I'm old enough to be your dad.
Yeah. And I was
said
like,
that. I said
yo,
that.
I was like, yo, we should probably start like spreading the story of like he's my dad.
Yeah.
You know?
Or we were at parties and in the smoking area. I
I
was
just
I would
keep going around telling people this is my dad. He's
yeah,
coming
I'll
to rave with
introduce
me.
him as my son,
See?
just as a joke, and then yes, and then everyone's like, "Is he really your son?" Yeah. That's how it
as I said,
happened.
word of mouth
Yeah,
still
yeah.
spreads
Yeah.
now, and then all of a sudden, just
even
like
now, I'm still trying to keep it going. You know, if someone just
Yeah.
came up to me, I was like, "Yo, is that your dad?" I was like, "Yeah, it's my dad, man. What's
Yeah,
wrong?"
yeah.
yeah, to be honest, like from my perspective, like I know you guys aren't. I knew right from the get go, but it's just like
Are we
you
not
can-
though?
Do it.
Show
What's
the
forever-
birth certificate.
What's that DNA test forever?
Ancestry.
ancestry?
Yeah.
Never know.
We might have to
Never
do
know.
a test.
You never know.
Actually, we do have family. We might have family. That
Yeah,
are
we might have
Yeah.
family.
His grandfather and my grandfather are all both from the same small village in China, and that
Yeah.
village had what 100, 500 people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So
Yeah,
we
this is
likely
crazy
share
thing we found
DNA.
out.
Yeah.
This is a crazy thing
Yeah.
we found out recently. It's like,
Six, 7 generation up.
Yeah.
It's the same
Yeah.
person.
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
Yeah, I just thought there was a funny thing about I watch F1 a lot, and one of the drivers from Australia, he's 1/20th Chinese. So
Yeah.
when he won his
1/20th.
race, he apparently that's what the ancestry
Mhm.
thing said. So then when he won the Chinese Grand Prix, he won his home race. It's just like, okay, I guess because my 1/20th ancestry, which was funny. So then I guess we mentioned the jack of all trades. What genre do you prefer, Alan or Stranja, to go to? I'm gonna.
You
I'm
mean
gonna keep saying this.
like producing music?
Oh, no.
Producing or DJing, one or the other.
I mean, I love doing drum and bass. I mean, that's the main thing I do. I love, but in terms of making music, I experiment with all styles of music. Right? I like aside from drum and bass, I like experimenting with dubstep, like
Mhm.
proper UK dubstep. I've even messed around with trap. You know, I started
his
out
trap beats are really good.
Yeah.
It's the thing. It's the thing
Crazy.
you said. If you're not learning,
yeah.
then you're doing it.
Yeah, I
wrong.
like learning
Yeah,
to
yeah.
because every genre has a different pattern, like drum patterns, different approaches to bass lines. I even like messing around with like R&B. I love R&B chords, right? There's learning about R&B like chord theory and chord progressions and putting that into drum and bass, right? That could be a whole nother thing. So
Well, and one thing we've talked about a lot on the panel is that right now with a lot of artists like Leo Zookeeper,
Mhm.
it's
Mhm.
like he's doing his violin thing. I'm like, that is a niche that no one really does.
Pretty
Yeah.
impressive.
You
too.
need to stick with that because you never know if that catches on or you could be in the forefront of, where artists are including more musical elements because
Yeah.
it adds a different perspective into their
Mhm.
thing, right?
Yeah,
It makes
don't-
you unique, right? Which is
Mhm.
really
Don't
cool.
lose your
Yeah.
identity.
And just like with that, with the producing, like you could be on to the next mashup that works, right?
Exactly.
yeah.
Or something that no one thought about, especially with your like in-depth music theory.
hmm
It's definitely really good.
Same thing like Justin Hawks. Like who knew? We'll put like
Country
and drum and bass together. Yeah?
Yeah.
So maybe you can put R&B and drum and bass
Yeah.
together.
100%.
Everyone doubts you until you make
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Until you
yeah.
make it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And the minute you make it, like how Leo said that, I want to be that guy. You
Yeah.
know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then how about you, Sito? Like right now, you want to play what you play, right? But anything you've been gravitating towards?
So I, not gonna lie, when I know I'm known as like the jump up DJ.
Yeah.
But in my own time, I actually listen to a lot of like deep rollers, jungle, and garage. like I almost like never listen to Jump Up in my
Mm.
own time, except like sets. I watch them just to see like
Jump Up is like the niche of even drum
Yeah.
and bass too.
yeah, like I think it's getting popular because
Headaches, Boo, yeah.
even Chase and Stairs dropping Jump Up. You know, it's crazy. Like watch the sets back like 10 years ago.
We,
Like
we say it's also because of the ADHD generation.
Yeah, exactly.
They,
Yeah.
they just they just don't want they don't want they don't care about elegant transition anymore. They just want
want the craziest
Boom,
drop.
boom,
It's the
boom,
boom,
dopamine.
boom, boom.
Yeah, yeah.
They just want to
Dopamine
hear
hit,
the.
yeah,
They just want to hear the
dopamine
word
hit. Yeah,
switch in the set.
Yeah.
switch
that's
it.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like but yeah, like I really do like garage, speed garage, you know, and then I do listen to 140 a lot as well. Also, like,
Yeah.
right now, like on the top of my rotation.
I think as an artist, you have to.
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah.
I think you have to. Like, you have to
Mhm.
appreciate house music in general too. Like, as an artist,
Do I
too.
though?
Do you? I mean, you
I
know,
don't know.
Do I know? Yeah, I do listen to house music, but like I say this. To
it could be
everyone.
your least
Yeah.
favorite genre, but you still have to appreciate what they're doing. To,
Exactly.
to-
Yeah.
Exactly.
yeah,
Exactly.
everything has.
And like, if you're good at that genre, like I would like it. You know, it doesn't matter. It's just
Yeah.
a lot of
Good
people-
music is
yeah,
good
music is good music, man.
Yeah.
Genre is just
Yeah.
People
Like-
appreciate the art.
yeah,
you know?
exactly. Like genres, don't let genre define music. That's what I would say.
I mean,
Mhm.
quite a bit of house artists are doing their drum and bass spin on their songs now.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Like
John Summit,
John Summit,
yeah,
and
yeah.
Tiesto.
yeah,
yeah.
Go Back, most
Yeah.
popular song last year for
Yeah.
sure, which honestly works so well.
Yeah.
Don't worry about that, Alan.
Yeah.
We can pick up the voice.
I
Yeah.
just like Go Back. I've actually never played it. Actually,
It's definitely like the mainstream.
yeah, but like, hey, like underground always persists. That's what I think. You know,
Yeah.
doesn't matter how
Underground is where the raw ideas and experimentation happens, and the moment something hits in the underground, oftentimes it spills over to the mainstream.
Yeah.
Exactly, exactly.
The cool stuff happens in the underground
The cool
because
stuff.
you're able
And
to
then the moment it
experiment.
goes mainstream, it's not cool anymore.
Yeah.
Low
Yeah.
key, man. Yeah.
Unfortunately, that is the way
Yeah.
people think, right? Like right now, there's a big explosion of hard techno, but like hard techno is now more mainstream. But like,
Yeah.
I know people who are like that, and they're like they used to listen to hard techno a lot, now they don't because
Mhm.
like, well, everyone's listening to hard techno.
I also heard the debate where like,
Or
is
UKG.
techno even techno anymore?
Yeah.
It could be, yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like it's like they're like all the trance music.
Well, that's
Yeah,
big in the
yeah.
trance
Yeah.
community. We talk about that a lot. It's like
Yeah.
you see all these. It's like, isn't it melodic techno trance?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
that's
that's
what I thought too. I was like,
yeah.
Isn't this
making
just trance?
new
Yeah.
words for it.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's just like it's been there for time.
It's like the other day we saw a post. I'm not going to mention who, but like this guy made a post and he posted a Notion track. He's like, I discovered this new style of music. There's no name for it yet, but it's got these crazy sounds. I had to comment.
At 140 BPM, oh my god, it sounds so fast and it's just so
Right.
melodic. It's like house, but so good.
Yeah,
Which
I'm
we
like,
thought it was called sex house. I was like, yo, it's called garage actually. And then they're like, oh yeah, if John Summit can't put the finger on it, then I won't too. And I was like, all right then, idiot.
Yeah, I was
Yo,
like,
genre defying is
Yeah.
so those
Yeah.
arguments and genre defying. Oh my god, it's like just like I like doing it, like but I like guys. We don't need to have an argument on this on what it is. It's just
Yeah,
it's,
like
it's
if you
subset.
don't like you don't like my music, that's okay. We can still be friends. You don't have to beef me for it. You know,
Yeah.
I don't like house. I don't enjoy techno, but that doesn't mean I'm gonna hate you because you spin techno. You know, like doesn't have to be like
Nah.
that. You know.
Yeah, but it's common.
I mean, yeah, it's common.
It's common,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
And when it comes to like music genre, and a lot of people out there, they just set in stone that this
Yeah.
is the best genre and nothing else matters.
Yeah, unfortunately,
irony
you
here, eh?
you have those people too in like the hardcore community. Like trance people only listen to trance,
Trance,
and
yeah.
everything else is shit.
Yeah,
Everything.
Drum and bass.
it's odd. It becomes very tribal.
Yeah, it is.
Well,
it
the-
is.
Yeah.
well, one thing is that's where sometimes the like I mentioned this about the jungle community
Yeah.
because especially with age gaps. So we talk about age gaps all the time, where like certain music attracts a different crowd.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Man, like I remember certain jungle events bring out like all the 40-year-olds, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
'Cause
for
that-
the longest time, I'm the youngest in the rave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When
in
I went
Toronto.
to what I was gonna mention earlier, the Rest is History documentary.
Yeah.
I went to the premiere and I'm like, I'm probably the youngest at like
Well,
30.
yeah, you were
I-
there, right? It
I
was
was
so
there-
sick.
I
It
was-
was just the whole crowd. Everyone's like so old.
Everyone's like 40, 50, and I'm just like, holy fuck! I'm like, I'm so young here.
yeah.
It's so weird to think that jungle is old people's music.
It
now.
is, isn't it? But
Yeah.
the crazy thing is that we've been talking about the trance scene and how it's slowly dying here, right? But I just like, because people are retiring, people are
Yeah.
getting old,
Right.
and I'm just like, look at the jungle scene. You host a jungle rave, and you got all these people who haven't been to a rave in 6 months who will come out and like sell out the venue or like come out in raves. I don't know why you can't replicate that with like the trance community, because I refuse to believe it's because people are having kids, they're old. If you truly love the music, you're gonna go. But the jungle crowd is a whole nother animal. I find crazy.
I think it's more enclosed, because like you don't really have the Facebook group of like Toronto trans family and things like that people can just join.
Oh, there's a Toronto drum and bass group.
Yeah, there's
Toronto drum and bass group. Yeah. No, it's just like the trance one. It's not crazy active, but it's there. It's right now with like the social media and everything. There's a group for everything.
Yeah.
If you want to find it, you'll do it. You might be the only 10 people in there, but the Toronto drum and bass one's pretty
Actually, it's because DNB is just small and tight.
Yeah.
You know?
It's
Also,
definitely.
I think with drum and bass recently, there's been a resurgence and reconnection with youth culture. I think that's important. With the rise of the younger kids relate to it more now, and that definitely has helped its interest.
Okay.
Yeah.
So with that, let's transition into our Toronto history, or like our Toronto drum and bass community, because as you mentioned right now, I think it's at its most popular ever. Am I going against that statement? Or you think back in the day?
Again, the most popular was probably 98, 99. Yeah. In terms of Toronto, that is.
Sorry. Okay, so that's when it was. Like that.
Yeah.
Okay. So I know we have two documentaries about the history of like Toronto drum and bass. Not all fully accurate. There's some bias in that. But if anyone listening wants to check it out, it's The Evolution of DNB by Chris McKee. You can find on YouTube. And The Rest is History documentary, which I believe is on, I don't know exactly where to stream it.
It's online somewhere.
It might be online somewhere, but that's the one me and SZETO were talking about earlier, where we're the youngest people in the crowd during the premiere. It's just like, wow, this is kind of interesting. It brought out all the old heads. We talked about Playa de Records. I think still kicking it around.
Yeah, it's moved location to Spadina, but it's the original owner, Eugene, big him up. He's still running it. So yeah.
I guess for you, so you mentioned back in the 90s, was this jungle music still was the most popular? Like, what was the most popular jungle for Toronto scene?
So when the raves started in the early 90s, the most popular was house, right? And then they would start once jungle became popular, and also Toronto was known as the second capital for drum and bass in the world during the 90s, because I think because Canada and UK, we had that cultural exchange. So there was an easy flow of information and culture between the two countries. So we definitely adapted to the early drum and bass and jungle sounds in the 90s. And so the raves, when jungle became popular in the early to mid 90s, the house raves would start to incorporate a second room for jungle, right? Because they want to get more people out, right? Having two rooms, you'll get more ticket sales or whatnot. So there will be a smaller room for jungle music. And that's how it started. Big up the originators. I think Marcus Visionary, Delirium, and Cyrus events. They were one of the first throwing jungle events. Shouts out to Jungle PhD.
Jungle PhD,
well. Medicine Muffin, Roughneck. Rumbleton.
As I said, guys, our history is very rich. We owe it a lot. Like where you see the scene is now, we owe a lot to these guys, and like people like Marcus Visionary still kicking it, still doing his thing.
Shouts to Vinyl Syndicate as well. I mean, in the 90s, we had two rooms for raves, house and jungle, and the jungle was the puny room. But eventually, the ravers, they'd be super inebriated, and they'll walk over into the jungle room. And they're like, wow, I like this more, especially in that elevated state. The jungle had more energy, so it matched.
You don't see the DJ, right, in these rooms? Was that still like, because we see all the old videos where nowadays it's everyone's facing the DJ. But
you can see the DJs. It's not always elevated. It's in a darker room. The focus is dancing, right? But I mean, the jungle was in a smaller room, but the house dancers in their hot, elevated state would hop over into the jungle room just to peek, hey, what's this jungle? And then they were in it because they were super energized. The music matched their energy, and they're like, I like this more. This matches my energy. As time went by, the jungle room got bigger and bigger and bigger, and eventually the jungle room became the main room,
Yeah.
and the house room was the smaller room, and that's how it kind of peaked in the late 90s.
Nice.
Yeah.
What about some of the other genres like neuro has a long history, like liquid. So like for everyone listening, there's like there's as we talk about lots of subgenres, but I think the one people know is liquid, neuro, and jump up as the other one, and dance floor. Everyone knows dance floor.
Yeah,
Dance floor
yeah.
is probably what's most popular right now.
Yeah, yeah.
Just with the recent resurgence. But there's how's the Toronto community been with like liquid drum and bass?
We've had a long history of liquid, actually. The Toronto crowd loves liquid drum and bass. Goes back to the early 2000s when we brought Makoto. Not we, but I think it was Mr. Brown who brought the Makoto.
Shout out, Mr. Brown.
Shouts out to
Mr.
him.
Brown, Mr.
But yeah,
G.
he brought Makoto early on. He brought a lot of early liquid artists came here. I think the late Marcus Intellects came to Toronto.
R.I.P. Marcus
as well.
Intellect.
I believe Caliber came up. DJ Markey, he played here, I think in 1999. I opened up for him with my buddy Rescue at Club X I think it was on Mercer Street. That club is no longer around.
A lot of those clubs are no longer around.
Yeah. But yeah, DJ Markey, he was hype. He was like the hot thing around 99, 2000. He was like doing turntable tricks and all. And yeah, I think it was the Vinyl Syndicate guys that brought him.
See, this is so interesting for me because we talked about earlier how the EDM explosion happened. Everyone talks about the Gov in Toronto, but then you have that crowd like such as yourself that's like, guys, this was like we've been doing this shit for like 15 years before this, and it's pop, as I said, 10,000 people popping underground. But a lot of people in our Toronto community know the government as like everyone misses the Gov for what it was, and Gov was great.
I had some good times there.
Yeah, I had some great times at Gov. So it was like really good. But yeah, back to the liquid.
Yeah, liquid. Yeah, people love liquid here. And I think personally, I was just talking to Jack about this last day. I think liquid is going to make a proper comeback. And I'm talking about that soft liquid stuff. I'm talking proper liquid, like with like rolling beats and rolling bass lines, soulful vocals. I'm predicting that's going to come back big this year, next year.
So.
I
hope so.
I think we got maybe ear fatigued with the maximalism of jump up and dance floor. Nothing wrong with that. I love that myself. But I think when you're fatigued and you introduce something totally different, the crowd loves it. I think that's gonna happen.
There's that meme, there's that meme of like SpongeBob when you put on the earphones and you see the liquid drum and bass. It's just like that's how I feel when I listen. Like it goes back. As I mentioned earlier about the neuro thing. I'm like neuro. Like I just haven't heard a set in a while. I'm like, holy shit, man! I want to hear a neuro set live again. But with the liquid drum and bass, man.
There's something about that when you have a proper rolling bass line and those soulful chords that hit you at that special spot.
We're both trance heads, and for us, that resonates so much. Right?
Yeah, that's
because
what I was about to say.
The emotion.
Yeah, it's the emotion, the uplift.
He actually has a really good liquid playlist on Spotify that like we have a few playlists of drum and bass going on. But yeah, if you want to check out like what we listen to other than the stuff we play,
we'll share everything the links for the videos.
Awesome.
We'll drop it on the description.
Sure.
And then you just mentioned, so that's our liquid history. Hopefully it makes a comeback. Thank God, please.
Yeah.
It will.
And then obviously the jump up resurgence with like Headaches and Boo that kind of popped off recently. I don't know how big our jump up history is though. It's been
there is a jump up history.
Yeah.
I feel like we have everything here, but I know there's been like peaks of like
sure.
Like back in the days, the
jump up is the hardest I would find for people. Other than the recent style of Headaches and Boo, I found jump up always the hardest to get into.
Yeah, but it's an easy transition
though. Really needs the crowd and like
the energy. It's the energy crowd.
It's an acquired taste.
Yeah,
it's an acquired taste for sure.
But somehow I find that it is an easier transition for bass heads to get into drum and bass, which is going into jump up.
Exactly, because it's the same sound, same noises.
Same noises. Yeah.
Like you look at Subtronics and you look at like for example Headaches.
Yeah.
It's pretty similar sounds, like it's just at different BPMs.
Like
I can see how that works because people are like, oh, I can headbang, but then you see Headaches or like Subtronics or like one of those big dubstep guys dropping a jump up track. It's like those guys like, yo, this is like the dubstep sound, but way faster, man. Like, this
Yeah.
is so cool, man, you
Yeah.
know? And then that's how they get into it, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the 20 to 30 BPM higher than usual.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
hits it. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
But then we're saying like that's how people get into it. But Stranja, in your opinion, do you think the scene has lost people more?
Yeah, it's odd because like every 7 to 10 years we go through
The cycle.
there's a new cycle, and then a new slew of people come into the scene, and we've gone through cycles probably 8 times by now. So it's hard to say because of my reference point of the late 90s, that has always been imprinted on my mind that's been the biggest. However, that's not to say we haven't had big drum and bass events recently. Talk about chasing status at History.
Oh, that
Yeah.
Or
that was
or
like just
Worship.
that was like Baddadan release,
Yeah,
and then that was like 6 months later.
Yeah.
So you're capitalizing on like a drum and bass event selling out at History, and also the resale was ridiculous.
Mhm.
I know.
Yeah.
Like-
Isn't it crazy?
Like
Yeah.
Even like, I would have never thought Andy C would play at Rebel.
Yeah.
Ever, you know, because it's Rebel, like, it's known to be like, you know, more for like the American EDM music.
Mhm.
It's a rave. Never heard of any drum bass event.
and that's Inc taking a chance on booking
Exactly.
NDC too. It's just like
So
I remember. It's like
watch the ride. There is a potential drum bass
yeah.
coming up, man.
Actually, we had drum and bass events at Cool House, which is
Cool House with Bass
them-
Week.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Week for
Cool
me.
House and Theory. Did you ever go
I
to
did
the
go to
Theory
Theory, yeah,
events?
yeah.
Those were super good. The Andy C definitely played Theory, Mombi Swift, and those were sold out. Like at least 2,000, 3,000 people packed at the Cool House. And
Yeah,
those were
my core, the group I went to, like Lost Lands, my core dubstep group. They all started in the 2010s, and
Yeah.
one of them promoted for Destiny at
Yeah,
the
yeah,
time.
yeah.
So they were like they went to university here. They were ingrained in that. It's like every
Yeah.
week, like whenever the events were there, they were like popping off. It was
Yeah,
crazy.
for those that want to know, Cool House was the former Rebel. Rebel had it was before the government and Cool House, and they were side by side.
Yeah.
Oh,
It
all in
was-
it's all in that area.
It's
Yeah.
it was
And
like
lore.
it was essentially
They're
a
all
mega
one venue.
It was all
Mega
mega
venue.
complex.
Yeah, yeah.
Like we had a mega complex for
Yeah.
events, which was like crazy.
Yeah.
So now it's like
Oh.
separated into multiple.
Yeah, because from what I heard, it's like we'll go as a big group individually to different rooms, listening,
Yeah.
doing different events. You know,
Yeah,
there
yeah.
you've got your top 40 going on, the biggest room, and then you got the side rooms, all the different house, jungle, drum, bass. It will be crazy amount of parties, and everyone just like leave the venue at the same time at night, and you bump into so many friends who are like just not into the same music.
Yeah.
to you.
Everyone
Yeah.
always referenced the smoke. A lot of friendships were made on
Yeah.
that smoking patio.
I want to correct myself, by the way. The Rebel used to be the Docks.
Yes.
Government and Cool House is now a bunch of condos,
Bunch of
unfortunately.
condos.
Yeah. Before Rebel, it was Sound Academy that
Yeah.
when they built that
Yeah,
complex.
and then
and
before Sound Academy, it was called the Docks.
yes,
Yeah.
that's what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Lots of history.
lots of history here. But yeah, Bass Week for me was big, and I know I keep hearing they're bringing it back. But
Hopefully,
they bring
yeah.
it back like 1 or 2 events. It wasn't like Bass Week where it was like 5
Yeah.
days straight.
Yeah, Bass Weekend.
Bass
They need,
Weekend.
they need to bring back Wemf so I can experience
Yes,
it. So I can
yes,
experience
yes,
that. Because
Wemf.
I've heard so many great things about it, and then I just
Yeah.
wish it still goes on.
For everyone listening, yeah, definitely go into the archives and just type in Wemf Toronto, and you'll see some like legendary.
Yeah, I saw a clip of Andy C dropping you know, that really famous Focus
Oh,
Wilkinson.
Time Warp or
No, like the I can't remember the name. I'm so bad with track ID. But he was doing a 3-deck vinyl set at Wemf,
yeah,
and it was like, I believe it's one of the first few times that people heard this song,
yeah,
and then the reaction. Wow.
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
cool.
Wow. On vinyl too? Like
yeah,
3-deck vinyl.
yeah.
No, not
Yeah.
3-deck digital, man. You
Gotta
know?
have
So-
respect
Yeah.
for that
So
vinyl.
then-
yeah,
Going back to I mentioned earlier, like, do you guys find drum and bass the hardest genre to DJ if you experiment? Like for anyone new?
yeah. To me, not and everything's easy to DJ. The basics is easy. It's just mixing and counting bars, right?
Yeah.
Just a lot more fast paced.
Yeah, I think for drum and bass, the new style of DJing, which I'm still trying to learn, which this guy's super good at, that requires a little more technicality because you're cutting super quick, you're adding effects and whatnot. But the basics of mixing any genre, I think is super easy, especially with today's technology.
So you're talking about like the channels where you like use
Yeah,
the,
chop
it.
you like this, and
Yeah,
then you
chop
flick
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That takes a lot of practice.
Like, I feel like for me, here's how I'm gonna put this. I heard that from I believe it's Vibe Chemistry. So he said DJing it's like driving. Everyone can get a license, but then you got Bottas, you got Verstappen, you got all those top dogs driving Formula One cars.
Yeah,
they
yeah.
can drive too.
Yeah.
But
Like-
you can drive
Like
too,
Andy
because
sees a
that means you-
Verstappen.
Yeah, exactly. Then
Yeah.
like, you know, everyone can learn how to DJ, just like how everyone can learn how to drive. But can you drive good?
Mm.
It's a
That's
different question.
That's a very good
you know?
point. That's
Can
not
you,
like.
can you triple? I'm not just.
Quadruple, you know.
I mean, that goes also knowing your equipment too,
Yeah.
because like as someone who doesn't DJ, I look at the deck. But Yeekern's kind of showed me a little bit too, and I'm just like, what do all these buttons do? I
Yeah.
just want to know what all these little buttons do.
yeah, exactly. It's just like, you know, takes time to learn anything.
Yeah,
But-
and I think every genre has a different approach of mixing. So drum and bass mixing is completely different from mixing house, which is completely different mixing trap or even pop music.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
They're all different. So
Yeah. In the
Yeah.
end, it goes back to what you want to enjoy to DJ.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Like if you don't like house, why are you DJing house music? Like,
Mhm.
right? Like you're just.
Well, a lot of people are in it for the money too, you know. lot of people are in it
I
for
know
the
a lot of
money,
people
too.
are, but man, that's a slippery slope for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Like,
That puts a cap of how far you can go. if
that's
you-
what I mean.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So like,
yeah.
especially if you're starting off, like if you're starting off DJ, like we work with a lot of like the local guys who are like just starting off. Like, don't follow trends. Like trends are cool, but like if you're not enjoying what you're doing, then you're just
Yeah.
gonna burn out and you're just not gonna like it. It's
Exactly.
not worth it. So with the different genres, like I guess we've talked about a bunch of who are the big players for like in your history, like in Toronto. Everyone knows Destiny. I think Destiny's probably had the biggest.
yeah, in terms you mean promotion companies?
companies,
Yeah,
yeah.
promotion companies. Earliest for drum and bass, I think it was called Delirium, and
Delirium,
Marcus
yeah.
Visionary was part of that. Cyrus. There was the Vinyl Syndicate crew through events. There was one more. I forgot the Block. Forgot their. They're gonna kill me for not remembering their name. Something.
we put a little subtitle, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Rumbleton was part of that crew. Sorry, I forgot the name right now. Also Empire Promotions.
Empire.
Who else was around those days? Mr. Brown's event company, Soul in Motion, with the DJ Spins that came up around I think the mid or late 2000s. So yeah, there were a number of key crews.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And any right now, like any big ones, right? Like I mentioned Destiny. I know like Roost is doing some good stuff on road. Doing some stuff. And the most interesting one I find is Ink and Embrace floating
Yeah.
with drum and bass.
Yeah,
I know
Yeah.
Embrace has always had ties with Destiny, so you always see the partnership. But Ink, as an Andy C being booked at Rebel,
yeah.
I never saw that coming.
Hey, it's
Yeah.
a good thing, man. You know.
And
I think with the explosion of drum and bass and the huge popularity, larger companies like that have to pick up these names. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Especially after Jason Status dropped
Yeah.
Baddadan.
like
Mhm.
I my guess would be the next person like Ink books is Chasing Status at
Mm.
Rebel.
That would
Yeah.
be cool.
That wouldn't be surprising.
I would not be surprised. Like in my opinion,
or even headaches.
I could see that.
I
I could
could
see
see a
Headaches more.
headaches.
Yeah.
I could see a Worship. Them picking up Worship, even though Worship has been done their twos here with Embrace, I believe.
Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't do
History.
it this year.
Got to get all four of them together.
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, I know.
But usually it's always like Worship's always a banger. Like those
Yeah.
events, like let's get Subfocus legend in the scene,
Mhm.
and then you have like Culture Shock, 1991 doing their thing. Dimension, also very good. But everyone knows Subfocus as like one of the legends of the scene.
I think headaches can be more fitting in department right now.
I'm pretty sure.
The
I'm,
lights.
I'm pretty
shows?
sure if if Headaches or
true.
Boo, they're going department.
Yeah.
I just don't think. I think only for Rebel, it's either Worship or it's Jason
Yeah,
Status.
that's
For
true.
the
Yeah,
sound wise, I kind of don't want them to be a department. It's like all tuned for like house music. It's like
Mm.
it's no bass.
But I think department sound system is pretty good. It's not Coda good, but it's up there.
You know what though? Like disclaimer, I haven't been to department since they renovated into department.
Yeah.
So
It's
should.
better.
It's better.
Okay, it's better.
Yeah, yeah, it's
And
better.
the thing about the drum bass crowd is that even for Andy C, it wasn't busy from what I was told.
Oh, that's good.
I couldn't
Oh.
go to this time, but it wasn't busy. But I find that's usually normal with drum and bass crowds. And
that's so good because you can skank.
that's the main thing. You
do
can
things.
skank. You can skank on Rebel's floor.
Yeah.
And we'll talk more about DNB etiquette in a bit.
Yeah.
What some of these terminology means. But like having room to dance at Rebel for an NDC set. Oh my god,
Yeah.
That's sweet.
I'm actually I had FOMO.
Phenomenal.
I had FOMO missing out, but like once again, NDC.
He'll be back next year.
He'll be back next year. He'll be back the
Yeah.
year after.
Yeah.
He'll probably be back
He's
at
here
the end of
twice a
this
year.
year.
I've seen him at maybe like 10 different venues over the
I
years.
keep telling people, cause like like I'm like pretty much here alone. My family's like in Hong Kong and England. I told them like I've seen NDC more than I've seen my family in the past few years. So like I'm definitely gonna see him again. But I can't make it last week because I had a show, so I couldn't go. But I'm not worried. I love his sets.
You'll see him again in 8 months.
I really hope he's gonna come back next year, so I can see him.
Yeah, it's always the running joke. It's like, oh, they especially Destiny didn't book him this time, but it's like, when is Destiny gonna book Andy C for their yearly? Because he's been the Destiny staple for like 20 years.
Oh yeah.
And I can't lie, I've seen Andy C play in England. I've seen Andy C play here. I've seen Andy C play like in small clubs and stuff. But Destiny Andy C always is the craziest set that I see.
He loves Toronto, and
he loves it.
He loves it.
You can just tell like he loves playing in Toronto.
Yeah, and
People
Toronto
love
loves
it,
Andy
you know?
C, so there's that love there,
it's like,
relationship
it's
there.
it's
Yeah. There's that
reciprocating,
trust there.
He's not like with a lot of these cities. He's not educating a new people who just
No.
he knows he's gonna get. The one thing I say about Andy C sets is where you get the old heads and the new.
Yeah,
Exactly.
It's like the one
He unites
DJ,
everyone.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
unites like a Chase and Status is gonna get all the new people, all the young guns out. But in Andy C, you're gonna see 40-year-olds, you're gonna see 20-year-olds, and they're all gonna be skanking it out. It's actually actually crazy to see.
Yeah.
In your experience now, is NDC better with Tony Piper or without?
Tom Piper, you mean?
Yeah.
Tom Piper.
I think I'm biased because I think personally I love my MCs. Like I feel like when you're playing such high energy set like that, you need an MC.
Okay, we're gonna ask that question. So
Yeah.
you guys, one thing that we get told a lot, especially from you, is that they absolutely hate MCs in the scene. But I know, especially with jungle for sure, MCs are like an integral part of like the scene. What's your guys' take on like, I guess, MCs?
Like for me, new fans don't like the MC.
Yeah, I can understand why the new people don't like it, because they want to hear the music. The thing is, they need to understand the culture and history of jungle and drum and bass. Is that jungle and drum and bass was an amalgamation of many cultures, from like the techno culture, hip hop, Jamaican dance hall music, and Jamaican dancehall music and reggae music was integral to jungle, that culture. So, in the UK, the Jamaican community brought that culture of dancehall to jungle, and dancehall music was played by, I think it wasn't called a DJ, it was called the MC, but the MC was actually the DJ, and he would also be on the mic. And they would be doing sound system clashes, right? So you have two sound systems in a warehouse, and they'd be battling with dub plates. Dub plates are like one-off records on acetate, and people would go crazy when you drop a fresh dub plate. And when they go crazy, the MC would wheel up the track because everyone wants to hear it again, and that's dancehall culture. And when dancehall culture was brought into drum and bass and jungle, because jungle adopted dancehall culture because of the bass lines, the dubby bass lines, the dubby and reggae vocals in jungle. So that is intertwined. That culture is
It's all from
intertwined.
the great like Windrush movement. You know how all of the sound system being brought to the UK.
Mhm.
Yeah,
spread out
because
all
that's
over.
the other question I want to ask. Like, why, when they drop like a sick transition set, they actually have to do a spin back?
Because you
Do-
reload it,
Yeah.
you reload
Yeah.
it, you
Yeah.
start from the beginning. Like back in the days, you can't just press the Q button and jump back to the beginning.
Yeah.
You actually have to scratch it all the
Yeah.
way back to the beginning of the point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To, like
And-
restart the track.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
once again, going back to the dancehall culture, that's how they do it. They stop the track, they wheel it up. The MC goes wheel it up, and then or pull it up. They always wheel it, and that brought that culture. Got
Like at the end of the day, DNB
Brought
is a
into-
Jamaican music. Like it's their culture, it's the root. Like you can't
Mhm.
just play someone's culture, someone's
Yeah.
music,
and
and
not do it.
not do it properly.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
part of the
That's
culture.
just
Yeah, yeah.
disrespectful almost.
yeah.
like.
So
Mhm.
as someone who knows the history quite well, like I know why, exactly for that reason, I know why MCs are in the scene.
Mhm.
But I've also been to sets where an MC has actually ruined it
Yep.
for that. And I guess the thing is, like, for you guys, if you have an MC, do you want, like, do you guys have a choice, or sometimes like not a
We
choice?
actually have a opposite preferences in MCs. He wants more of a host.
Oh, okay.
I kind of want like
a hype man.
like hype man, a little bit of lyrical, like
Okay,
what
like
is
someone
Freestyling.
who's
going on.
freestyling, like
Yeah, because
yeah.
like I love watching sets like TNA, Bass Layers, X-Man, what's like B Live, like B Live, like back in the days, all those like big crazy like bars, lyricisms like on jump up tracks. Whereas like Alan, you like play more like kind of like you rather like let the music speak for itself.
Yeah, some people prefer to hear the music, and the MC enhances the music at certain parts of the music. That's not to say I don't like the lyricism. The only thing is I haven't encountered an MC that I trust yet. I mean,
Yeah.
except for Catty Cat, I trust him fully
and this is why I say about
yeah.
Andy C. Like Andy C. without Tony Piper, I cannot hear it. I cannot
Yeah.
see it.
Exactly.
Like Ton Piper being with him is like they go hand in hand. Like I
Yep.
cannot. So like in scenarios like that, I'm like, you need an MC. But then
Yeah.
there's other scenarios where I'm just like, there's this famous Rusco event that
Yeah.
happened with Archetype Sound.
Oh, I was there.
And
I was there.
I want to hear Rusco talk on the mic because of him hyping up, and
Yeah.
he didn't talk because there was an MC over him, and I'm just in the crowd. I'm like, what the fuck is this? Like,
Yeah.
like, let the man talk.
Yeah, a good MC DJ relationship, there needs to be trust between the two, and there needs to be chemistry and understanding of the music, when to come in, when to come out. Listen.
That's
to
why I
the
think you
music,
can't just throw an
enhancing.
MC for the
Yeah.
sake
Yeah.
of throwing an
Yeah.
MC.
Like AMC, you think of Phantom.
Yeah.
Chases Days, you think of Ira.
Yeah.
Like that Logan D, you think of X-Man.
Mm.
Like, all those like there's duos like you almost just like, it's like playing League of Legends. AD carry can't go anywhere without the support. You know what I mean?
It's like
I mean-
even where new like headaches with SDX-Man?
X-Man, yeah, X-Man, yeah.
Like just I think of the Wembley show that he played, and just had the hype of the opening that he did,
Exactly.
and just the hype of when S-Man came on. It's like,
Yeah,
That was-
like so like I feel like another thing that I kind of want to talk on this is it's MCing is an art too, it's work too, you get shit DJs out there, you also get shit MCs,
Yeah.
like, and most of the time, a DJ plays a shit set, it's really easy to know, it's really hard to notice sometimes, but like it's more easy for an MC to like mess up
Yeah.
and then go too much over the top, and
It's more easy to identify.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And then a lot of them I know, shout out my MCs, like they're great. Like Ellie, I've worked with, always great to work with. Like Caddy legend, always knows what he's doing. And then just a big chunk of it, like I'm gonna say this, like with risk that I might, like I'm just gonna be honest, because like what I'm thinking is, sometimes it is really important to have the trust between the DJ and the MC, because often I play it's like I feel like there's the lack of trust in the two groups in Toronto. That makes it like, so the MC wants to keep spitting bars to like showcase their skills, which is fair enough. The scene's already small enough, but like then you got DJs to like just want to let track play, and then it's kind of like
you gotta read the crowd too.
It's kind of
at
like
the same time.
those two guys are like almost clashing
Yeah,
each other, always fighting for time for that.
And they don't understand each other's
No,
role. I think understanding your role is very important. Perhaps it's your time to shine at this moment.
Exactly.
But now it's your time to shine.
I'll give you
right?
room, like I like working with Ellie and Caddy is because they both know, I would give, like they both know I would have time for them to spit bars, and I would cooperate with them. Like I chop over the lyrics when I'm playing drum and bass with them. I rarely do that with other MCs, so they don't, there's not that trust. There's nothing personal, nothing really. It's just all about the chemistry back in the days.
Yeah, exactly.
Like there's a reason why AMC picked Phantom. There's a reason why Andy C picked like Tom Piper. There's a reason why. It's not because that he's the best MC on it. It's not. It's about the chemistry.
Yeah.
And
Compatibility.
how you like couple it with the DJ. So I think this one thing to all MCs, you guys are all great. I've seen you guys spit great bars. It's just, you gotta trust us and we will trust you. It's a relationship that we should work together, not work against each other.
Yeah.
And
Well
then the
said.
outcome will always go to a good outcome. because
Yeah.
you know when you're working together, it's always better.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
I agree.
Well said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll let you guys chew on that. Can you pause it real quick?
Did you know that nearly 25% of adults experience hearing damage from loud noise exposure, like the music at clubs or festivals? Once it's gone, it's gone. That ringing you hear after a night out? It's a sign that your ears are crying for help. Hears provides earplugs that reduce noise levels by up to 21 decibels, enough to protect your hearing while still letting you feel the bass and enjoy the show. Get up to 30% off when you group buy with 5 friends. Click the link in the description now or scan the QR code on the screen. Don't wait till it's too late. Order today so you have it for your next event.
All right, we are back. So we mentioned about some of the big players, and especially like that topic about like the MC thing. It applies to the big players because each of them have a different style of how they want to do it. I know Destiny doesn't really use an MC because they book more of the guys, I guess, people who don't use MC, like the I'm drawing a blank right now, but like a lot of the more bigger ones, like Delta Heavy doesn't use an MC
Yeah.
as a recent show too.
Yeah.
But
And it's also because like when I started drum and bass like 2 years ago, I got all the right artists without MCs
Right.
before I jump into one with MCs. And then when the MC came on and started talking, I felt like it was very off tune.
which show was that?
It was the Nomad one.
What was it? The Nomad. What was
I
it?
totally forgot, but it was like Nomad March something, 2023, I believe.
Mm.
Oh,
But
it's
yeah.
my birthday, no?
23?
I don't think 2023. No, we
No.
went to the one last year.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
24.
Yeah,
Yeah,
24. We went to the one.
Yeah.
20. Nomad was not there. 20.
It was.
It was
Yeah,
there.
it was there,
for
yeah.
It was there.
Yeah.
number
But there,
of years,
it's
yeah.
literally right after COVID. Nomad's kind of
Yeah.
popped up again.
I don't
Yeah.
remember who it was, but like it had the MC and it kind of felt like it was off tune.
Mm.
So then it kind of left like a bitter taste in that sense. So I never really seen a very good synergy with that, because like when I was listening to some of these sets on DNB All Stars, and NDC was there, but there was no Tom Piper,
Mm.
and it was like pretty good.
Hmm. Oh yeah, yeah. The one I always reference is the COVID one. Everyone has that amazing COVID set. The Andy C COVID set, the one he did for DNB, I think Loaded Arena. AMC did a 6-deck set. That was the
Oh,
other one.
that was
Yeah.
really insane.
That was insane. And then Andy
Wow.
C did one for like Locked and Loaded, and he didn't have an MC, and that was like you're literally watching a master at his
It's
craft.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
It's
know.
actually, for like everyone, we talk about Andy C a lot. You're literally watching a master at what he does. The man can spin vinyl. He can spin 6 decks, 3 decks, 2 decks, whatever, like
Mhm.
triples. I have a running joke with my one friend who's very good at IDing drum and bass tracks. He's like, don't ask me during an Andy C set. Just don't ask me. Because it's just like, I'm hearing this and it sounds good and it's probably a triple. It's like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
what?
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
And he's like,
yeah.
I know this one and this one, but there's another little sound that he's putting in. And I'm just like, I'm so confused.
Like Loki, that's like my kind of like Andy C, AMC, Frosty, and Sota are like the 4 DJs that I desperately want to like learn how to like DJ like them.
Mhm.
And it's like like newer names like Titan, FMS. The way they DJ is like they make edits, they make like they like make sure everything goes well, 4-deck chop, you know.
Yeah.
And it's just listening to their sets and like watching them play. I'm just like, I need to practice harder.
You know what's
Yeah.
you know what's a funny thought I just had in my head? So we've talked recently about like DJs put on like a loop and they have to go pee. How do you do that in drum and bass? Can you even do that? If you have to pee during a drum and bass set, what do you do?
Yeah, but then most drum and bass sets are only an hour long.
I-
But
yeah,
it's just,
yeah.
it's
One
just
time-
the
one
end
time
of
I-
C.
One time I played 6 hours.
Yeah, what about
Yeah.
Andy C? So
Without
what,
peeing.
what,
Yeah.
Wow.
what does Andy C do if he wants to like go pee?
There's a bottle underneath the booth.
He's just gonna do that?
Yeah.
Just go out.
Because
Secrets
a
out.
lot-
Secrets out.
Because a lot of these other genres, they can just
Yeah.
put on like a 10-minute
Yeah.
got to go pee song,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And like no one knows any different, right?
Yeah.
The DJ runs away.
Just
It's
don't
just-
drink during your set.
Yeah.
Like, don't drink alcohol. Don't drink
So-
water.
Yes,
Yeah.
so it's just funny. So obviously, Stranger with you, the history of like drum and bass and the players have been like it's massive, right? Some have come and gone, some are here.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
Jack, SZETO for you, I guess for some of the like recent, since you only got to it recently, who's like been helping you out,
So
especially as a starter?
my first show ever booked was with Roost actually.
Mhm.
So, you know, I started now record a mix. You know, I think I'm feeling pretty confident. I wanna like I'm eager to play. So I sent it to everyone, you know, Destiny, Toronto DNB, bunch of other, I don't know, small companies. I probably not even from Canada.
Yeah.
It's just like it's really hard to find Toronto and drum and bass on social media. Excuse me. So I sent it to Ruse, and they're the only guy that replied to me. I was like, "Yo, we'll put you on the show for like this thing called Nuit Blanche." So like, you know, I was like so excited. I was like, "No way! I've never played on CDJs before." And I was like, "What am I gonna do?" But like, I'm just gonna firm it. I'm just gonna act like a tough man and firm it, because I'm like, you know, I've never played on CDJs, and a lot of people like, you know, are not too comfortable with it. And then they're like the old CDJs.
Yeah.
1000s, 2000s,
like 900.
Oh,
900s.
yeah, it's the 4 digits.
Yeah.
That's too advanced, man. So they told me it was at the bridge spot. If you know the bridge spot, you know, if you know,
The underground's still popping.
you know, exactly. So I've never been there. It's my first ever time playing. So I like kind of like got to the bridge spot. I was like, there's no one there. I full on thought I got trolled. So I called
You have
him.
to wait for the sound. You have to listen to the sound.
To find it.
Yeah, exactly. And I called him. I was like, "Yo, so where's this bridge spot?" I was like, "No, did I not tell you? We last minute changed to like Queen's Park." I was like, well, but at the moment I was like still living in my near U of T campus, and Queen's Park is right there. So I like Uber there. Got there 15 minutes before my set. Never seen these equipment before. I was like, okay, I'm playing a set right now. I played my set, and then those guys loved it.
Yeah.
And they gave me a lot of good feedback and stuff. And, you know, I was like, yo, like, it just made me really want to do more and do more. So I forever, like, Ruse, those guys, like, shout out Marshall, shout out Jake, you know, Dan, Nima, all those boys, gave me the first opportunity to play. You know, it's really important. I cannot emphasize enough like how important that opportunity was.
Yeah.
Me playing in Queen's Park, open air, 500 people were there, seeing this guy. No one knows who this guy was. You know, like, and they all loved it. And I was nervous.
Yeah, I bet you were.
I was
100%.
so scared.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
Did the nerves go up once you saw the CDJs?
Yep.
Yeah.
And then when I started playing, I was like, this is weird. Like, why is the BPM jumping and like
Yeah.
So what am I supposed to do? So I just like the whole time I was just so focused trying to like make it right. And then like, you know, start working with them more, you know, and then through them I'm like, you know, I learned a lot about, you know, DJing. They're giving me opportunities, and then, you know, now I'm very grateful that they gave me opportunity to help them out, you know, like just to like, you know, learn on the side of like while playing, and as well learning how to like how an event works, you know, how everything works. And then, you know,
it's such, as I said, through this conversation, the DNB community here is so tight knit.
I know
Everyone just wants it to succeed. It's something we've been trying with the trance community, but like the DNB community is like,
I know, like everyone just wants everyone to win, you know. It just wants everyone to win, you know. And it's like they gave that kind of passion also kind of like linked me to like connect to a different topic, low key, like just very briefly. How he and like Roost, like Stranger and Roost, both like taught me things. This is what I'm doing now, you know. I don't care about shows. I don't care about making. I want to teach people. I want to pass this on. Because if he's the only one doing this right now, I feel like, you know, there's a lot of people out there wanting to learn how to DJ and play music and get into drum and bass. They might not know the best, but I didn't know the best too. I had my Mackie G phase, you know, like everyone had those phases. So I just want to like pass on the thing that those kind of things that people did to me, and me passing them on to the next generation, or even my generation. You know, it's rare to see. You know, you can't just say plur, but you got to act plur as well. You know? You got to act it. You know, that's how I'm doing right now. Trying to like, you know, teach as much as I can. I don't know anything. You know, I'm still new to the game, but I'm still trying to help everyone to win. Because, you know, without a community, the music is just gonna die. It is gonna die. It is gonna die.
But people respect the hustle. I find that especially in our EDM community, people respect the hustle, and they appreciate what people are doing, especially to try and grow. That's what we hope with the podcast for sure. Like with what we're doing, where we hope we're bringing people content that, you know, we don't get to hear on a regular basis, right? Just something different for everyone. So it's, we respect that quite a bit. So.
And just like that, he follows the father's footsteps.
Yeah, he follows sister.
Proud son.
He's actually building quite an army of these young
Padawans.
DJs.
Padawans,
There's a circle.
He's like the Yoda
Because you guys are both you're an advisor for the Just Streaming Collective, right? I know there's a couple DNB heads in there. How about you've probably worked with them too, right?
Yeah, Mazi, Hugie,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
those two are great, man. You know,
Yeah.
honestly, on like watch them, watch out for them.
Yeah.
They're coming up big
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
You know,
And he's got a couple boys from his school that he's bringing up.
yeah, like it's a crazy moment. Went from just me and Tatham, shout out TJ, the DJ T Grizz, bro. Like just me and him liking drum and bass, and now we can get like there's like 3-4 other drum and bass DJs that are like in my friend group that just like got into it through us too, and I was like, wow, you know, it feels nice that people like resonate with you.
Mm-hmm.
It's rare, super rare, super rare. You know?
So,
It came a long way from the 2 Chinese dudes in the Justin Hogg.
Yeah. Got an army now. We talked. Stranger, you mentioned how Toronto was like number 2 in the world for drum and bass. Are we
Mhm.
still there now?
Sadly, I don't think so. It's hard to say who's number 2 right now. Probably Australia or New Zealand, I would say.
I would
Yeah,
say,
yeah.
Out of Europe, like obviously, like
Yeah.
UK is the hub.
Yeah, I mean, Europe too. I can't forget. I mean, Belgium,
and they're-
Netherlands.
Netherlands.
I love how the Belgian people embrace the jump up.
Yeah.
It's like they're known for the jump up, which is
Yeah.
like kind of crazy,
Yeah.
especially with some of their lineups. But
Yeah.
yeah, the New Zealand, Australia,
yeah,
for those of you who don't know,
yeah.
It's
I would say,
poppin' in
I would,
New Zealand.
yeah, but I would say probably Belgium's second, and then probably Netherlands, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
then probably I don't know, Australia.
there's a good like Czech Republic too. with,
Czech.
Oh, yeah,
Czech
yeah, that
Republic.
too. Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
going there in July. I'm
Yeah,
playing
yeah.
Row.
Yeah, Austria has a big, long-standing history of drum and bass. so
Biggest
it's
drum
in
and bass
Euro.
festival is in Czech Republic.
Yeah.
Let it roll.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should
Always.
be a good time. Should be a
Yeah.
good time.
Yeah.
Should be a good time.
Okay, that's
It's all gonna be a lot difficult for Canada to search because we don't have a lot of digital eyes like the States does.
No.
Yeah,
no.
because
But
like
even
look
in
at
the
Ultra Miami, like you have all this lineup, then you have like what's that EDC, right? And all this big digital eyes will kind of like
But I
search.
want to disagree with that because okay, comparing it to the rest of the world, yes, I agree. But in North America, though, I would say Toronto is almost number 1. Next to LA,
in North America, I
Next to-
say we
it's like
probably have number 1.
number
Yeah,
1
yeah.
or LA.
Yeah.
One big prominent group in LA is
Yeah.
the Sprec DNB.
Yeah.
We talk about Destiny having history here and like
Yeah.
for that long.
Yeah,
Respect DNB has been doing their Thursday night drum and bass night since like the 90s as well. It's
Yeah.
been crazy. Those
Also,
guys
Vancouver is starting to
Vancouver,
come up
yeah.
with Monster Cat usually.
Also, we know these guys in Vancouver. Shouts out to Nick, Envoy.
Koji,
Yeah,
you know,
Koji also. They
yeah.
teamed up with a promotion company. They brought DNB All-Stars to Vancouver.
That's-
And funny enough, they didn't bring it to Toronto. So Vancouver is starting
I
to
was
come up.
so mad.
Yeah.
I was so mad.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm like, why?
How does that happen?
Why?
right? Yeah.
Like ever since, man, like there's like a running joke that just in my friend group was like whenever we see some event company trying to announce a headliner, we always like similar, because like similar went to Vancouver and then come here, and we're all like it's a similar coming. I was like, boys, let's do it. We
Just
we
pull
each
the money
pitch in,
together.
and then Red Nomad and bring similar here. It's like the
Yeah.
longest running joke in the whole friend group. It's like we bring similar here, similar,
yeah.
you know.
I said like, there's a lot of politics that go on with booking stuff here. Sometimes I scratch
I
my
suppose,
head.
yeah,
I know Destiny gets some flack too. It's like, guys, stop regurgitating the same
Mhm.
people over and over. But once again, it's really the landscape here is really hard, especially with the cost of a lot of stuff. But I know,
Yeah.
when they got DNB All-Star, I was
Yeah.
like, I was so mad.
Yeah,
I had
yeah.
friends who went to the New York show too for that,
Oh,
which
okay.
was like really cool.
Nice.
But with the reason why like I want to bring that up that Toronto is probably like number 1 is because we have a DNB Awards here.
yeah.
Toronto
yeah, we
DNB
do.
Awards happen
Mm.
here. Like, what city has that if you don't have a
Right.
good DNB community?
Shouts out to Ace and Toronto DNB crew for doing
Yeah,
that.
Yeah.
Ace, Dylan, all those guys, big ups. You know,
Yeah.
they're like it's really unique thing that we have. You know,
It's so cool. It's all about like we love what everyone's doing. We're promoting local. This is another way to promote your local scene, especially with the DNB Volume 1, which you guys have a song out.
Yeah,
yes, we
yeah.
do,
Mm.
and we already have 2 VIPs in our banks right
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
So come
Got-
to our shows and you will hear it. You will hear it.
We have a saying: you need the content for the content. You need the content for the tracks. Where you have a song, you already have to have a VIP and an
Yeah.
live
Yeah.
edit for it. You can only hear it live, guys. You
Exactly.
can only hear it live.
That's the thing we kind of want to say is that we do is like we will release songs. We don't care. We don't mind releasing songs, but as soon as we release it, we're working on the VIP that we play in our shows.
Oh,
only.
100%.
Yeah, of
You know?
course. Yeah.
You have to, especially in
Yeah.
the drum and bass world.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to hear that VIP.
Yeah.
Like,
Everyone's a VIP merchant, you know.
Oh,
Yeah.
man, like,
I mean, me
Um,
spinning some drum and bass from Spotify list of songs, it doesn't hit the same.
No.
It
Like-
does not
like
hit the same.
one of the big songs last year was In the City.
Right,
And
Yeah.
like the
Stripper, yeah.
VIP of that. Oh my
So
god.
fat,
And you're like,
yeah.
it's not out, but it's like I need to hear it
I
live.
know.
Yeah.
Even the biggest ever dub is like, you know, the Circles, Polo and Bryson bootleg. Still up to this day, it's not out. I know a lot of you are playing it that Polo and Bryson didn't send to you. Don't do that. It's
Mhm.
bad. It's bad. You should not rip songs that are not out. It's bad for the community. It's bad for the scene. So, anyways, done my educational talk here. That song is like the biggest track. You know, the tick, 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 tick. That
Yeah.
one. Everyone plays it.
Everyone
you know, it's
plays
like
it.
such a good song. But sometimes, hey, this is the special thing about the dub play culture. So, as like Alan said earlier, dub play culture originated from the acetate plates that are made for one-off, that's special, unique. You know,
Mhm.
whereas here now, it's like your DJ weapons. You know, it's like what makes drum bass so special. It's like we embrace this dub play culture. I have songs that I paid, you know, like MCs and vocalists to do a dub play version where it shouts my name in it. That's the culture. That's because back in the days they record dub plates like
Yeah.
that. You know,
Exactly.
this is
Yeah.
why like, you know, it's really tempting to go rip a song that's not out. Really tempting.
It's not good for the scene.
It's
Yeah,
just
no.
not good. Think about you made a tune, like your weapon.
Yeah.
You don't want anyone else to use it. You know,
Yeah,
and then there's
it's part of your set. That special is part of your set.
As
Yeah,
much
yeah.
as you want to play it at home, you know, it's not yours. It's just like stealing.
And yeah, like you think about other genres, but this is most common in drum and bass for
It-
sure
it
because
is
you're playing the most amount of tracks in an hour compared to
and
any
most
other-
drum and bass DJs, they tend to play unreleased tracks
And
a
they do,
lot. Like
yeah.
most of the top DJs I know pretty much play like either like 80% original or like 30% original, and the rest of the 70% is like you would never be able to find it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You know, that's what makes drum and bass special. Like, you know, I don't know, from my experience, like even garage and stuff, like house, dubstep, most of them are like known songs. People know how to sing along to it. There's
Yeah.
like unreleased, but like I feel like the craziest amount of unreleased you see it's in drum and bass.
Yeah.
I agree.
It's always like, you know, someone do a set list, track list 1001, you always see like ID for like
Yeah.
a SOTO.
It's just
blue
the
set, you know,
easiest to do
ID,
because it's
yeah,
just like
yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know what he's
Yeah, I
doing.
don't know, man. You know,
That's the dub plate culture. And funny
Yeah.
enough, in Toronto, we used to have a t-shirt company that made drum and bass t-shirts, and the company was called Dub Plate Culture.
nice.
For that reason, yeah,
Yeah.
very common.
Yeah.
So we talked a bit about like our Toronto scene. So we had an explosion here. I think everyone on this panel knows of drum and bass recently. It's been
Mhm.
really cool, I
Mhm.
find.
Mm-hmm.
Especially a lot of big artists playing it.
Mhm.
Like over the weekend, Ultra just happened this past weekend.
Mhm.
Armin van Buren dropped a 50 Cent in the club drum and bass remix, and I was just like, "What the?
No way.
You have to hear it.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like what?
Not mine.
Not yours, yeah.
yeah. No, I made one for
Yeah,
his.
he made one for me for my birthday. It's like, go shorty, it's your birthday. It's just like laser noise for my birthday because he played after me for my birthday
Yeah.
bash like 2-3 weeks ago.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And
I was
then
there.
he was like, yo, I've got a gift for you, but you're gonna find out later. I was like, what gift is it? And he just dropped that track. I was like,
That is
Yeah.
amazing.
yeah.
But yeah, like you're seeing more like artists incorporate like big artists.
Mhm.
Dubstep usually like a lot of the dub like Excision, like Crank
Yeah.
Dad, they're incorporating dub. But even like a Martin Garrix, he played Close Ultra. And he had a
Yeah.
drum bass track in
Yeah.
there.
Yeah,
It's
he
an
did. I
ID.
saw that.
Mhm.
I saw that. It's like
So-
an Arcano remix or something.
So like
Wow.
I always found like I've always found like I get it right now because it's like a little bit of a hype, a change up hype. Because
Yeah.
it's like I know a
Yeah,
lot
it
of people.
changes the energy. Yeah.
I know a lot of people can't do drum and bass, especially if like they're getting into it. Like maybe they can't do an hour of drum and bass,
Yeah.
but like 2 minutes, 3 minutes.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a good change up.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think there's no like elephant in the room. Like I think with the recent explosions because of Baddadan.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Definitely.
I guess
yeah.
what's your guys' take on that, especially with being in the scene? Like
Wait, before that question, how many times have you guys heard Baddadan?
I had a counter at one point. I was running last year and then I got lazy.
How many times I've heard
Yeah.
about that?
Too many that we've lost count. Yeah.
Funny enough, like last year I was at a Boomtown. So I was at one of the visual booth because one of my mates were working visuals for a stage, and they had like a tally up of different all sort of funny things like how many shit MCs, how many reloads, how many times did original Nutter get play, how many Baddadans. It's like there's a whole tally of stuff going on, you know.
Yeah.
How many people threw up in the crowd, you know, they've got everything. It's the visual booth, right? So like they see everyone on the crowd.
Oh, so they actually.
Yeah. And
That's
then it's
hilarious.
so funny. And I literally saw them like take it off. It's like the DJ was like literally dropping Baddadan. It's like, okay, one more now.
Yeah. I had a counter, I think it was last year, but I got lazy. It was out like I was like 67. And like
Wow.
at that point, since
Oh,
the
okay.
origin, I
Yeah.
was like, Jesus Christ! Like
Yeah.
every single person's playing it,
Yeah.
every single edit. Like
We
and
were
this is like counting,
texting him too. Like
Yeah.
every time a DJ drops Baddadan, we would text him.
like they heard it live or they heard it on a.
Do you know what's funny though? Like speaking back about the whole like North America is a bit delayed with songs. The whole Baddadan hype in the UK kind of like was dying when
That's what
when
I.
we
That's
just like when people here just figured it out. It's like I kind of stopped playing Baddadan already when everyone started playing Baddadan.
Yeah.
yeah.
Because it was just like, oh, everyone's playing it. Like kind of like it's still a great song. Like we still
Yeah.
reference to that song up to this day when we're making tunes together because it's like great.
Oh yeah,
good
the
song,
breakdown
you
and
know?
everything is just
Yeah, it's a good song, but
Mhm.
like I just don't want to play it because I've got other like.
Well, I think what I was told is it embodies UK culture because we talk about how UK rap is huge.
Yeah,
Like having all those people on the Baddadan, like
Mhm.
just encompass the underground culture of UK. So I get it, but I'm just like, why did it take until now for this to happen? I guess with Baddadan, it caught me off guard. Like it's catchy, but I was just like, oh, as what you mentioned, it didn't really have a resurgence. Like it was popular in the UK, but then it kind of died off quickly.
no, it did. No, it got too viral in the UK. People just
Okay, it got too
kind of.
viral.
I was like, oh, the Americans are listening to it now. We're not listening.
Oh, it's one of those
Yeah,
things.
it's
It's
one of
like
it's
those
one of
things,
those
yeah.
things, you know.
The minute
Okay.
it goes
And
into
then we also talked about social media, right?
Yeah, I think it had a huge cultural moment with Baddadan, and it had all the right elements to make it a worldwide phenomenon. Not first and foremost, the track was really good, and it had this hook that everyone remembered. The word Baddadan is just so easy, and it had the visuals. The music video was sick.
Yeah.
It showed this culture that was sick. It had this almost kind of this thug life to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like
to
that
the
clip
music.
from-
And oftentimes EDM, I'm using that term, is not associated with that gangster life, but it had this visual that was tied to that.
But it was groovy at the same
Yeah,
time.
and made that
Yeah.
captivating for the newer audience that may not have been exposed to this. What is this kind of music, and why is it so badass? So there was that cultural moment, and then because of TikTok, it was very easily TikTokable because of the
Yeah.
hook, and everyone was using it.
Yeah.
And not to mention the many edits, so everyone was playing. So all those things culminating together, it
And-
made it possible to become
and I
like
think
this
we had that-
phenomenon.
And
Yeah.
then with the trend of North American drum and bass populating last year, we just talked about earlier, go back. The John Summit.
Yeah.
Like John Summit had a huge explosion for Tech House, but
Mhm.
for him doing a collab with one of the legends in the scene, Sub Focus, especially with how elegant the Tech House part to drum and bass happens, everyone knows that build up to the final kick of Go Back, which is like iconic.
Yeah.
And we have an episode coming out on like it's the word virality.
Virality.
Virality,
Yeah.
yes.
Variety.
Virality. But it's just like recently it was like the Sphere scene where drum and bass was played in the Sphere, and everyone it was Go Back, and John Summit had the Go Back, and then all of a sudden when it ends, it's like an explosion in the
Yeah.
Sphere, and it's like that
Yeah.
video went viral
That-
too, and it's
oh,
still
okay.
having prominent now.
Yeah.
It's
That's
crazy.
crazy.
Yeah. It's crazy. But I guess we talk about like dubstep DJs now incorporating into the scene, but do you guys like it? Like overall, like what the resurgence recently?
Yeah, I have nothing wrong with it. The
Okay.
more people that are getting into drum and bass, the better, because
Yeah.
we love it. We're very passionate about the music, and we want more people to enjoy it.
Because
Of course,
some
yeah.
people have the argument, it's like, especially with dubstep, oh, you're just doing it because like the flavor of the.
Mm.
you
Who
didn't-
cares?
That's my take too.
Who
Yeah.
cares?
I hear that, I'm just like, yo, this is just good for the scene. I like to think of like Lost Lands. I went to Lost Lands pre-COVID, and they had sound camps. So sound camps are like after hours, and like they had one day for 4 DJs, drum and bass sound
Oh.
camp, and then going back to 2022, 2023, they had an entire day of drum and bass at one of the stages.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just like, and now like you also have them moving slowly to the main stage with like certain headliners.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
And with the resurgence of Baddadan, like after that, most of the bass artists that like I know who incorporates drum and bass songs in their set, 10 times better.
Yeah.
I would say, yeah. Because it kind of resets you. You don't always hit bang, and then you resets you, and you go even harder. So
Oh,
it
that's
gets,
cool.
it makes it
Yeah.
a lot better.
Yeah, I remember I saw a
Yeah.
decision last year, March.
the March show.
Yeah,
at
the
Canadian-
March show, yeah.
Rip Great Canadian Casino.
Holy, like that was a smasher.
Yeah.
Like, I've never been to a rhythm dubstep show before. Never. This was my first time. I think fair saying, like the visuals, dubsteps into some jump up and then just go fluctuate for the
Yeah.
whole set. I was just like, wow.
Yeah.
This is insane. So it seemed like that Shrek thing come out just like puking everywhere. I'm like, yeah, that's pretty accurate description.
Yeah, but it gets more people into the scene, right?
Yeah, it gets
Yeah,
more,
That- So I appreciate that aspect. That's why I hate that argument about like people joining on the flavor of the month. I'm like, hey, as long as you're not stealing from someone and you're like changing your entire thing around it, like incorporating drum and bass is just so easy into sets.
Exactly.
That like as Martin Garrix's playing it, like yeah, it's kind of like okay, they're playing it too, but it's just like hey, this is kind of cool for my
It's
set. to-
exposure, right? You know?
Exposure.
Yeah.
you know?
which is really cool. And like once again, we talked about it. Andy C at Rebel. When would this have ever happened? Not, I would have never ever thought Inc would have scooped up Andy
That's
C
true.
and booked it
Yeah.
at Rebel.
Yeah.
Like that's
Yeah.
actually wild to
Like
think
even
about.
with like what like can we tell him Diesel?
Oh yeah. Diesel hit me up.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he
Wait,
fo-
Shaq?
yeah.
Shaq hit you up? Wow.
Yeah, shouts out to Diesel if you're listening.
Yeah,
but
shout
yeah,
out DJ Diesel.
He
man.
started following my account, and then I hit him up. I was like, "Yo, what's up, Diesel? Love what you're doing. If you want to know anything about drum and bass, just hit me up, and would love to send you some music." And he asked me to send him some music. So
That's and honestly, for Shaq,
mhm.
he does just a gem in the scene because
Yeah.
he actually
know.
loves.
I love what
He
he's
actually
doing.
loves
yeah,
it.
yeah.
He
Yeah,
actually
yeah.
loves it, and I know he doesn't need money. I hear
No.
every gig he does is like for the good of the community.
Yeah,
And so like
Yeah,
when he
yeah.
played like Lost Lands, he did it for free. He's like, whatever, I'm here.
that's crazy.
And like him, he's just a force behind the decks. Like, he's not the best technical DJ, blah blah blah, all that argument that he's not like, but like he's giving.
He loves the
expo-
music.
Yeah.
he's giving
He's
exposure
the-
to anyone, all the young guns. He has all these young guns too. It's like, hey,
Yeah.
he's playing their tracks and he's getting exposure. Shaq's playing my track. Holy shit!
yeah,
Like what can you say?
it's mad.
Yeah, and like people follow basketball, like you know, they're like, yo, like he's doing this now. This is like a legend from
Yeah.
basketball,
Yeah.
scene.
yeah.
And he's like playing this music. This is cool. Let's find out what this music is, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then it's like nice. It's nice. Like it's like leading everyone into the EDM community, and then like you said earlier, it branches off again. Like you find your own thing, and then you find your own little
Yeah, exactly.
like kind of like you know pots and circles, like
Mhm.
Yeah.
the music you like, you know.
Yeah.
Now,
It's
what's
always-
oh yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, it's always kind of funny to see Shaq in a set. Like he is significantly
so big.
much bigger than
Yeah.
everyone
Yeah,
else.
yeah,
And then
yeah.
his security guy is like half his size. And things like
Yeah, I
that,
think I saw a picture of like
Yeah.
Helix standing next to him.
Yeah.
Helix is a short guy, I
Yeah,
think.
yeah.
And then Helix was this big, and he was like, this.
Yeah, I know.
Well,
It's like-
Excision rode his shoulders at the first Lost Land.
Yeah,
Excision
yeah.
got on his shoulders. I'm like, I'd be terrified if that was. It's actually crazy. And like, Shaq also like, yeah, he hits play on the thing and then he goes and moshes with the crowd. Yo, Shaq in a mosh pit. You just see some videos of people like,
That's
it's like,
nuts.
it's like,
I would be so scared.
He's a
Ex
big
pro
guy,
basketball
yeah.
player
Yeah,
that
yeah.
break like known to be breaking boards from dunking. I'm not moshing right now.
so we're talking about like the different scene. We're jumping to like Explosion, DNB and NA. But what do you guys like? Like, okay, your experience with the NA DNB crowd. Have you raved in Europe? Stern?
Yeah, I've been to Europe and UK a couple times. UK scene is dope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but what do you think about the NA DNB crowd? Like at festivals, local scene, like anything different that you guys find?
Yeah, I mean, they dress differently. I think they probably dance differently between the two continents as well.
What's different about the dancing?
Yeah, I don't know.
You got
In
the
UK,
muzzing,
they don't really do the what did they call that? The two-step dance?
which just looks like skank, you know?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, they just do more of a like a skank,
more like a boppy,
like
you
a
know?
reggae
Yeah.
kind of dance.
Yeah.
But over
you
here,
throw your gun fingers out, you know, kind of.
I think here in Europe is where they do the kick step dance. I forgot what it's called. Sorry if I'm messing it up.
The kick step?
DNB step, I think they call it that. Where they do the
like the Belgian stuff,
yeah
like the Mustangs.
yeah, I guess so.
I do like the in one spot and like kicking my feet type of thing.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think
yeah.
That's what I do. I know the side step is like usually common or like
yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, the
Yeah.
skanking, yeah,
the skanking.
yeah.
But yeah, I
I
guess
think over there it's just regular casual clothes, whereas here festival crowd is more
Dress up.
colorful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the
that's
significant
in
difference.
general between Europe and
Yeah,
all
yeah.
genres,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like I don't know.
Yeah.
You look at EDC, which has at one point I would say EDC was the only North American festival to actually
Okay.
care about drum and bass and
Oh,
actually
okay.
book it when I
Yeah.
went like back in 2018, 2019. And like they had dubstep mixed with drum and bass, but that was the only place I could go to and actually rely on getting drum and bass in North
Nice.
America.
Okay.
Yeah. But now it's like
Now
It's
it's everywhere.
everywhere. Yeah.
all
Mhm.
these festivals are doing
Yeah.
it.
Even smaller festivals like Beyond.
Yeah,
have
beyond
it,
beyond
yeah.
Wonderland.
Were the people loving it at EDC when drum bass?
So it goes back to the thing. You were only at that set if you love drum and bass.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So
you-
everyone around me was the most like wonderful
Yeah,
people
yeah.
in the world.
Yeah.
For anyone listening, one of the best communities in the EDM world is the drum and bass community.
Yeah.
It is by far like we're trance heads, we're diehard trance heads, but it is literally neck and neck between the two, and the drum and bass community is always welcoming.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's a
Yeah,
cool
yeah.
thing to hear.
Maybe not a Chase the Status set, but
Yeah.
But
the smaller ones,
but,
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Andy say at Revel.
I'm friendly. Come talk to me if you see
Yeah.
me on a rave. man. Don't be afraid.
the
I won't eat you.
vibes are just there,
Yeah.
and I find that still resonates between the UK and the NA, even though
Mhm.
it's more colorful in that. The vibes in the NA scene are still there, which is
Yeah,
really good.
for sure.
And then
Yeah.
I guess with the European scene, like obviously we know for everyone, like UK is the hub. Bristol. I
Yeah.
think that's it.
Bristol,
Bristol is
yeah.
like live and breathe drum and bass,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Bristol, London, Manchester.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
then we talked about the use of MCs there. It's more ingrained in their culture there. Like
Of
is
course,
is there any events other than for like certain DJs that don't have MCs there? Like I feel like even like
don't have MC.
so like a Wilkinson plays in North America usually doesn't have an MC, but in Europe he will always have an MC.
yeah,
Our
that usually-
Dimension probably doesn't have an MC.
yeah, because
Yeah.
he's just
Yeah.
like he's just cool
Yeah.
like that. You know? I
Yeah,
guess.
his MC is his cigarettes.
One,
Yeah, yeah.
2, 1, 2, 3, go.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, did you there's a viral video that came out too about Dimension at Ultra and
Someone's counting his
That's
cigarettes.
cigarettes.
Yeah, that's so funny.
It was so funny.
Yo, I love that guy, man. He just like so nonchalant. Last year, I saw him like in history. He was lighting a cigarette while playing in
Oh,
history. It's
yeah,
like history.
yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, I love this guy, man.
I
Dude,
actually-
go off, man.
Part of a show.
Yeah.
man.
Funny story, in 2019 when I went to EDC,
Yeah.
I actually met him in the crowd.
Oh, okay.
Oh, really?
He was chilling in the crowd watching, I think it was Wilkinson back-to-back Subfocus.
Yeah, yeah.
And he was literally chilling in the crowd, but no one recognized him. And I saw
Okay.
him and I'm just like, he's tall. He's a tall guy.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
yeah.
And I'm like, Dimension? Like, yeah. I'm like, and then we started talking for like a couple minutes just about like his
Oh, that's cool that
productions.
he's
That's
actually.
sick.
Yeah.
That's cool that he was down to talk.
Yeah, because
yeah.
but I did try to keep it low key because I seemed like he didn't want to
yeah,
that much
yeah.
attention, but like no one really recognized him. I was just like chatting to him normally,
Yeah.
and then eventually he just like, all right, go on.
Most
Yeah,
DNB names are pretty nice people.
They're so nice.
Yeah.
Like
Mhm.
I bumped into Sota in the crowd one time, and then you Sota, man. I was like, yeah. I was like, you coming to see my set later? I was like, yeah, I'm coming to see your set. And then I got to the stage, a small stage. He was playing up at a smaller stage of the festival. So I got there 3 hours early just so I can secure a spot, you know, because to get in, because like they
Yeah.
often like big name in the small stage, you just cut the queue, like you
Yeah.
can't get in.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I was there. He came on. He saw me. He recognized my cab. He probably was my guy.
Yeah.
Yo, that's sick.
Yeah,
I
sick,
had that.
yeah.
I had that with a well-known melodic dubstep DJ Blank.
Yeah.
When he does
Aeon
Aeon mode.
Uh-huh.
He played for Zed's Dead when History opened. Like he played as a blank set, and then he's like he was gonna do the AP, and I just DM'd him Aeon mode, and he's just like, and then he left it at that, and then all of a sudden we're at History, and he announces, all right, he's doing it was advertised as blank. He's like, no, I'm gonna do a drum and bass set.
Oh.
And then I was in the crowd at the front, like near the front, and he saw me. And then he came down after. He's like, "So yeah, I play drum and bass." And he's like, dapped me up. I'm just like, "This is so cool." That
That's
he's like,
cool,
he
man.
saw my
Yeah.
picture DM, and
Yeah.
he's just like, "Yeah, I'm gonna play drum and bass. Why not?" Because he
Yeah.
just unveiled that alias, and like Toronto was
Oh.
the second city to like get it, which was like
Wow,
wild.
exclusive
Yeah.
stuff. You know,
And I
like-
spoke to him at Tomorrowland when he
Yeah.
was doing his AO mode set there too.
Oh
Wow.
yeah,
Yeah.
most of them so
Yeah,
nice.
Yeah,
I like
yeah.
it when
A
an
lot of
artist
those-
is personable.
Yeah,
right?
as that for anyone listening, definitely branch out to these other genres like trance and drum and bass because the communities within them, you can have
Very
a nice,
rich.
You can have a very nice conversation with almost any.
And look
DJ.
at how
Yeah.
I met this guy.
Mhm.
This guy's
Yeah.
like
The local legend.
look, exactly. I never even thought I would be sitting here doing a podcast side by side with him with a bunch of
Yeah,
guys.
exactly,
I never thought that would happen. Just approach. Don't be afraid. I've heard a lot of like industry kind of like a little industry tip I would give you guys is don't be afraid to just shoot a DM to an artist that you look up to, you know, in drum bass especially. Because most of the time you get an answer. I sometimes
Yeah.
I ask them, like, you know, I spoke to a few jump up artists and I was like, yo, how do you make that bass sound? They just kind of show me.
But there's also the saying that sometimes you don't want to meet your heroes.
Mm.
Isn't that?
Yeah, I mean, there's a risk.
Yeah.
Of course, there's a risk.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
like, you know, if you just go in with an open mind, you know, not expecting anything, just shoot your shots.
Yeah.
Keep
Yeah.
it
No,
concise,
a
keep
lot
it
of those-
short. You know, you never know what would happen.
And especially in that community, a lot of these, one of our former guests, DJ Belinda, who does trance, I call her a bot for sometimes because there's a small like 3 women DJ. Marie Vaughn is one, and Maha Iri. They spin techno, but it's funny. I see them always commenting on each other, and it's just like she posts something, and all of a sudden you see like a very well known artist commenting on her page.
Oh, that's
Like
cool.
very personal, right? Like because like
Nice.
in the end, it goes down to like even within other genres, you want to see the scene grow. So when
Yeah.
you see someone doing something, especially like as a female,
Yeah.
and it's like
You pick them up.
you pick
Yeah.
them up, right?
Yeah.
And it's funny because like they never really talk to each other on DMs, but they just comment on each other. And then when Mahari came to Coda, Belinda was there, and Mahari recognized her and
It's like-
said hi first. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's like
so she
it's
saw her,
just
"Oh, you're
special, you
Belinda."
know? Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's special that way. you know?
Wow.
Yeah, so like you never know. That's where the argument goes both ways. Maybe not the big guys. Like maybe you don't want to meet. If you love Stevie Aoki, maybe you don't want to meet a Stevie Aoki,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's one of those scenarios,
Yeah,
but, like,
yeah. I see what you
smaller
mean.
ones,
There's definitely
yeah.
a risk.
or like
you
a
know?
diplomat. But yeah, that's the one thing I do love. But one thing about the UK, I find a lot of people don't use like gun fingers here compared to like the UK
Okay,
or
look-
like certain moves.
Like, I'm sorry, it's just like you guys don't get it here, man.
Yeah.
Like,
I-
it's something
it's-
that's gonna take time for you guys to get it. You know,
Yeah.
for me, it's a natural thing. You play a sick beat, doesn't matter what genre. Like sometimes I'm just like, oh, this tune is sick, man. I'm just
Yeah.
doing this like automatically fingers. I'm not
Yeah.
I'm not even trying to like force it out. It's just already.
No,
The-
the friends I go to like who are DNB heads at first, who I go to Lost Lands with, and I've gone to like drum bass shows with. We always do the finger guns and like dancing, like the skanking, but like finger guns out. But like no one does it. Like no
Yeah.
one does that at these shows. It's
Yeah,
like-
even like here, I was at Chase Stay Spoiler Room, and then I was like kind of like just skanking, like pulling a dirty face. Someone came up to me and was like, "Are you like okay?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm enjoying
I'm-
myself big time, man." And then I was like, and then like you know, Chase Stay's dropped a dub or something. So I was like on the release track, and I was like, "Fuck off, get that fucking right out of my face." People thought I was genuinely mad at someone. They got
Yeah.
so concerned.
Oh, yeah, that's another
Yeah.
thing.
They
The
got
fuck
so
off.
concerned.
You never hear it here, but like I find it also very kind of weird to hear here. I guess that hasn't resonated with me with the UK, where a big compliment as a drum and bass DJ is saying "fuck off."
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the
Give me
ultimate compliment you
It's-
can
it's-
get as a drum and bass DJ.
You
When
say, like,
get me the
yeah.
F word.
Yeah, like if
Yeah.
I hear the crowd say "fuck off," reload that, I'm like, it's probably gonna. Like,
Yeah.
pants.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
really, it's like best feeling.
You never hear that, but I just think as a DJ, I was just like, if I didn't do drum and bass, it's like I hear "fuck off," and I'm just
Yeah,
like, what
I think
do you
it's
mean?
Brit-
What did I
British
do?
culture.
Yeah, it's very British culture.
Yeah.
This one,
Yeah.
yeah. Like, and then the Ollie chat and
Yeah.
the Ollie chants. Like, there's like different all sort of chants, you know. And also one thing that circulates back to MC culture, right? Now in the UK, people know their MC's bars, and like they can sing with the crowd. So get like the MC performing a really iconic bar, and the DJ cuts the track, and then the whole crowd just sings along
That's cool.
with the MC. Can you imagine? Like it would never happen. Like,
Yeah.
it would-
That's insane, dude.
Like, I have like a few bars learned in my
Mm.
head. Like I just know how to throw like you know like that very famous song. Like I know I'm dragging on, but I'm gonna keep it short.
Yeah.
that headache song, click, 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 clack,
Yeah,
clack,
yeah.
clack. Those lines been engraved in our head, like engraved in our head for the longest time. They finally just made it a track.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's like
it-
a famous bass layers lyrics.
Oh.
Yeah,
Oh.
that's a very exactly. That's a very because I listen to that song. And I'm like, I don't like this song, but it's catchy in the sense of in the set, like people just know it. But
Click, click, click,
Clack,
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 clack.
clack.
And also it's the same with like the bus one in the air, like come on, like
Right.
it's been there.
That one's
forever.
iconic. I
Yeah,
know
that one's
one.
iconic. You know,
Yeah.
so a lot of the bars
Yeah.
that you semi-automatic longest
Yeah.
time ever.
Yeah,
It's been
yeah,
around.
yeah.
I
so
love
long.
that.
Oh, I didn't know
Like,
that.
the
Semi-automatic,
lyrics
yeah.
been
Blah,
around for
blah,
so
blah.
long.
Oh,
So
okay.
apparently X-Man, apparently I don't know how real is this. He had a computer science degree, so like his bars always incorporate some sort of like computer related stuff. You know?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he has a computer science degree. X-Man, like Headaches is MC.
Mm.
yeah.
Yeah, so like semi-automatic is one of like the iconic bars that he would do in shows, and then they finally made it a track.
Yeah.
You know,
Mm.
there's more
Interesting.
examples.
Yeah.
Yeah, like so, like
Because-
we all know the lyrics already. You know,
Yeah, it's funny because like one of the questions here I wanted to ask is like, does DNB have lyrics? The answer
Yeah,
is yes.
yeah, sir,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Everyone knows like one of my personal favorite anthems is Tour by Mac. Everyone talks about
Yeah,
everyone gives shit
yeah,
by
we
Mac
all
G,
have-
but everyone knows fucking Tour.
Yeah.
Like,
boom, 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 ba-da-da. Like everyone knows.
everyone knows like
knows.
but it's always the real.
Yeah.
People say DNB has no lyrics, and then you just hear Tour
Yeah.
being played.
Yeah,
Everyone's like,
yeah.
And then like a few other classics like
Yeah.
Breakstone Roll, Mr. Happy,
Mr.
ba-
Happy.
ba- 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 you know, like that one. So everyone knows that. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so cool.
Or self-focus. Wow, 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 wow.
Yeah,
Yeah, that one. Wah, 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 wah.
We're into it. We're into it. That's so good.
So DNB has lyrics.
Lyrics. DNB
Yep.
has lyrics.
Yes. And
Um,
also like there's also like, you know, when you listen to Liquid, Dance Floor, amazing vocalists. Like my favorite
Yeah, yeah.
vocalist, like Emily Mack is
Oh.
killing it, you know, a little sound, like
Flo Anastasia, big up.
representing
Big up,
Toronto,
Flo.
like crazy. I look up to her and like hear her all the time. And then
Big
you-
things, big things.
so-
Speaking of Little Sound, she made a track collaboration with Subtronics.
is that
I
just
saw
Oh,
drop
yeah.
that this weekend.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
like, that's
and,
Fire.
and also shout out to Coven too, because although Coven's a duo, maybe people don't know that Katie is the front head of the
Yeah.
because Max has anxiety from what I've been told for
Oh.
DJing,
Okay.
so he only does like the local shows whenever it's in the UK.
Right.
He doesn't want to travel. But yeah, Katie belting those lyrics at the same time, crazy. Same little sound.
she's like the nicest person on earth.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah.
You know that she's AMC's
Girl-
Beyonce. or
Fiance
something.
now?
Yeah.
Is it
Oh,
fiance?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think that's like the big, like the
DNB royalty.
power, like the
Power
power
couple.
of
Yeah,
the
yeah.
scene. Like honestly,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
So one thing, Stranja, how has some of this from North America and Europe changed? Like especially the back in the day has anything been lost from your time back in the 90s? The one thing we didn't talk about is you said house, but when did you start with drum and bass?
Yeah, so
We didn't talk about
that's
that. I don't think
funny.
we talked about
I
that at
got,
all.
Yeah, I got in the house in I think I was 96, right? But shortly a year after, everyone was talking about this drum and bass
Because of the
jungle
room thing, right?
Not that happened at the same time, but like in Rolling Stones magazine was talking about drum and bass. Goldie, the drum and bass jungle legend, was featured on the cover of Rolling Stone, if I can remember correctly.
Yeah,
Because his album on Timeless Record just came out and it won a lot of awards. So drum and bass was highly written about in like magazines and newspapers, and everyone started talking about it. And so I started hearing about it. I was like, what is this drum and bass thing? And I started to hear Freaky Flow and MC Flip side play jungle on primetime radio at 6 p.m. on Saturday nights. I was like, yo, this stuff is interesting. I wanted to know more about it. And so I started to get more information, and I bought a CD, went to HMV, and there was this CD called Enforcers Above the Law. It was a compilation CD, and I brought it home and I put it into my CD player, and then I put it on put on my headphones, I hit play for 2 seconds, and then I had to put it off, just like how you were turned off for the very first time. I was like, this is a bit intense. This is almost like devil's music. I can't listen to this. This is too crazy.
It's
Like,
like,
I can't, but I keep listening to it.
Yeah.
It's like introducing someone to techno, but you start with the hard techno.
You go
It's
Yeah,
like,
go
what?
straight
It's
to
like,
the
what?
deep end.
It's like, what?
Yeah.
I hate it, but I'm listening. I'm listening.
I listened to it for 2 seconds, and I was scared. Actually, I was scared shitless of it. But a week after, I gathered enough courage to put that CD player into my player again and put it on, and actually pulled and listened to it. And I was like, wow, this stuff is crazy. I love this. I want to learn how to make this style of music. And that's when I switched over from house to jungle drum and bass. I sought a friend from the same BBS. His name's he went by Rip and Snare at the time, but now goes by Fringe. He helps me a lot in the back end still to this day, one of my closest friends. And he taught me the beginnings of how to make jungle music and how to cut up an aim break. Before, I had no idea what an aim and break was, or even what a breakbeat was. I was using 909 drum samples trying to create a breakbeat, and Fringe was like, "You're doing all wrong. This is how you do it." And that's kind of how I started getting into jungle drum and bass.
Nice,
Yeah.
Wow, sticks and
nice.
stones.
Yeah,
huh?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
sticks
here
and
we are
stones.
today.
Yep.
Wow.
One we talked about way earlier. So we obviously North American explosion, Europe hub. Doesn't
Mhm.
matter where you go, different genres. But we talked about Australia and New Zealand. How did that? Do you guys even know how that happened?
So
Like-
I think it's definitely because there's more of a market there because they have Pendulum, for example, very big drum and bass.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
Concord Dawn from New Zealand as well.
Yeah.
They were super big in 2000s.
And then it's just like, yeah, this is one thing that kind of intrigues me too. How come, as like former colonies of the Brits, like put it that way, history lesson, how come the drum and bass culture translated to Australia and not too much here?
That's the thing. It's
This
so
is like
weird.
one thing that intrigues me because like it's equally as like it's
essentially-
even further from the UK. You know?
Yeah.
You know what's funny? I literally think it's like, you know how people go snowbirds, go to Florida. I mean,
Yeah.
with the situation now, but like, all the UK essentially they're touring in the UK during the summertime here, and then they're going to the summertime in New Zealand and
Exactly.
Australia.
Mm.
It's too cold there. They're like,
But
I
you
guess,
are
maybe.
right. They literally are almost an exact copy of the UK culture. Like almost like I don't think any different. They like embody it completely. There's been no modifications.
Yeah, more on like a holistic level as well. Like the
Yeah.
Aussies are similar to the Brits.
Even their accent is
Yeah.
almost
Yeah, it is.
kind of similar. Yeah.
Yeah.
Certain words. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just weird.
But
Yeah.
more so Australia. New Zealand is, I think, what I listen to George FM. I
Yeah,
think a lot of people know
so-
George FM.
yeah.
They're based in New Zealand. But just like how New Zealand has become the hub of, like, I don't know, what's their population in New Zealand?
Not
Maybe like 10
much.
million less.
Mm.
Probably not. a
And
lot,
they're
yeah.
hosting all these crazy festivals that I dream of a lineup here like that.
Yeah.
And
I
they get
know.
it there in New Zealand. It's wild.
Yeah.
like Rhythm and Vines.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
it's-
all their New Year parties are all drum and bass. It's
I know.
wild.
Wow, that's
yeah.
That's crazy.
Definitely got to make a trip down
Yeah.
there. But it's really cool to see how it did. Now, some of the other regions, I don't really think, like Asia, I don't really.
Oh, Asia has a scene, man.
There's
Is it
smaller
scene?
scenes.
It's a
popping
smaller
up.
scene.
Yeah.
But it's kind of all run by the Brits. Because
Yeah,
think about
yeah.
this.
Expats. Yeah.
If you're a tour manager going from the UK to Australia, Thailand, Hong Kong, Tokyo, all of those are they're like layover stops. Why don't you make a few shows there? And,
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
those are like
yeah.
the
True.
prime like travel locations.
Like right now,
for-
Thailand's
for-
popping up, so why not try?
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Like the Brits love going to Thailand. They love going to Hong Kong. They love going to Japan. So like,
Mhm.
why don't we just take advantage of that and do shows there? My friend actually just came back from I think Hokkaido or something. Saw Chase and Stairs there, like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Wild.
Like Ira was there. Like it was insane. It
Yeah.
was insane. And then also like the boiler room Japanese guy. Like what's his name again? Like the guy.
Oh,
with
that-
brown
Yeah,
shirt,
you-
this guy.
you-
Yeah.
Saw him there as
Yusuke.
well. You know.
Yusuke.
Yeah, he looked his set was insane too. But like, yeah, see, there is a scene. It's just small.
It's just
really
smaller.
small,
Yeah.
really
It's
small.
it's probably the one that's probably gonna explode the most right
yeah.
now. That
if it
region.
catches on.
If it
yeah,
catches
yeah.
on.
There's so
Asia.
many people
Asia's
in
gonna be
Asia,
big.
you know?
Yeah.
I'm surprised that like a lot of Asian people that I know, Southeast Asian people that I know, listens to trance, hardstyle, like a lot of the harder beats that you don't really get like for mainstream stuff.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
mainstream stuff, they're
Yeah.
like,
Mm.
okay, I'll just go pay launch some money to go like Cream Fields or something like that.
Oh,
Then
okay.
Yeah.
get that fixed. But
I've said I'm living in the wrong continent. I should literally either be living in Amsterdam or Netherlands or Australia.
yeah.
Australia to New
Yeah.
Zealand. What do they like? Trance, drum and bass, and hardstyle.
Yeah.
I'm like, why am I here?
Hong Kong is super huge. Like
Yeah.
with like trance. That my friend, I was like a music director in a club in Hong Kong, and then we actually like we're the two kind of guy that loved the weird music back then because he was
Yeah.
into Skrillex and he loves his like hardcore shit. He was send his hardcore to, and he plays a lot of hardcore and trance. And he
Mm.
told me there's a big like people love trance and
Yeah.
hardcore
Mm.
in Hong Kong. Love it,
Nice.
absolutely love it.
Like Ben Nicky, his name is huge in Southeast Asia.
Oh
No,
really?
Yeah, because he plays hardcore
Well,
and trance.
it's the funny comment. It's like Ben Nicky can sell arenas, yet he can barely fill out a Hamilton club.
Yeah,
Like, so he
exactly.
says-
Yeah.
Wow.
Wasn't he here? Like
He was here
Yeah.
at Department, but he
Yeah.
just played at 77, and it was like fairly, it was okay busy, but it's just like,
Mm.
it's funny to think that perspective, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
Where
Okay.
an artist can sell an entire arena
That's
in,
very
in
interesting.
UK or somewhere else, and
Yeah.
can barely fill it here.
Yeah.
That's just the way sound works and what
Yeah.
resonates.
Yeah.
The way
exactly.
the way Toronto crowd works is they just love the hype. So
Mhm.
Yeah.
anything hype, they are there.
Which
So-
circle back to like how you mentioned like earlier, like about the whole like UK Europe scene in here. It's like people here come for the headliner.
Yeah.
They never care
Yeah,
about
they
us local.
There's a
DJs.
push to try and come for locals, but there's also like, respect time, blah 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 blah. But like,
Yeah.
man, this is where lately I have enjoyed the local shows more, where it's like, shout out Just Dreaming, like those one-off night events, especially even like the local, like what Roos does and all them.
Even
Each-
his birthday bash.
Everyone's a headliner. There's
Yeah.
no
Yeah,
one
yeah.
upstaging anyone. So
Yeah.
everyone's playing their own tunes. You're gonna get unique stuff. It's not like a build. Oh, I gotta build up for the. And I know you guys as artists that have opened up for these big guys
Mhm.
too, but you know what I'm talking about, right? Where it's
Mhm.
just like you do have to scale it back a little bit compared to what you may.
No, I
want.
don't.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, no, he
He
doesn't.
knows I don't.
Okay,
He knows
yeah.
I really don't. So they
Well-
like now they just
well-
put me too close because like they know like I just go ham regardless.
It might work out too because we're in the ADHD generation. So when your set's over, someone will probably forget anyways that you played this
Yeah,
song, and
yeah.
you're good to go.
I know they would probably think it's like mistaking me as the headliner anyway, so it doesn't matter regardless. You know?
Just to round out this episode, we wanted to talk about some DNB. We talked about a lot of like skanking and stuff like that. We would just want to give a bit of education, like for DNB newbies. Like
Mhm.
Yikern was a newbie.
I am.
He's learning all these terms. He's
Yeah.
gotten into the genre. I guess for someone just dipping their feet, like they start with chasing status, as with anyone, or they started
Yeah.
with they heard this term "go back" and the song "go back" and they like the back end. What artist would you guys recommend, or what genre would you recommend for a newbie to dip their feet in?
How about we do this? We do 3 names popular and 3 names that you think you want to dig deep. So we give them
Okay.
the option.
Ooh,
How
I
about
like
this?
this. I like
How
this.
Okay.
I like
Yeah.
this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
I'll-
you start.
I start. So
Yeah.
if you're just new to it, I assume you know the big names already, but like kind of like just like the the second step down, kind of like that. Sota.
Soda. Yeah.
100%.
Playing at Escapade.
Yep.
Someone book him
Yup.
here, please.
Yup.
Yeah.
Yep. And then I would say probably Parappas.
Okay. yeah.
Parappas.
Oh, okay.
Arcano.
Mm.
Those 3 get to know. Like they're like if you got into drum bass through the go back route, those 3 would definitely like be pumping up music that you like. And then for
Mm.
like the deeper, you want to dig deep to like the genre, like the actual like where the history of the music came from. For me, I'll pick 3 names as Halogenics. And then I would probably do Dillinger.
Mm.
Ooh,
That's a
legend,
good
legend.
one.
And
Yeah.
this is
Yeah.
where I respect EDC because they always book them for the jungle
Oh.
crowd.
No
Wow.
way.
They booked
No.
Dillinger.
No way.
They booked,
That's
they booked
crazy.
Dillinger. And it's
Wow.
actually wild to see him there.
Oh man, I'm
Yeah, he gets an
Dil-
early slot
Yeah,
because once
yeah.
again, it's not as popular.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
him
Dil-
being booked there,
Dylan
is-
just super influential to me
Dillinger, yeah.
personally as
Yeah.
well.
I
Yeah.
know I love like still play his tracks out every set.
Yeah.
Regardless. And then
Yeah.
lastly, I'm probably gonna give my favorite as of right now is probably I'm gonna give it to Benny L.
Mm.
Benny L.
Like
Nice.
these 3 are like kind of like
He's a
the
jump up
dig-
specialist, right?
he plays jump up, but people don't think he plays jump up because of how jump up is now.
He's
yeah,
more
Does that make
dark.
sense?
I call him dark
Ah.
rollers, but yeah.
It's very
Okay.
easy to describe those names that I just brought up. They make
Yeah.
music sound like engines about to take off.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
Yeah.
Yeah,
about you? How
about you,
I
Shanka?
think you named a lot of the names that I wanted to mention. So on top of that, there's this guy Subsonic. Because most people getting new to it, they're more into the more dancey, almost poppy.
my thing is dance floor
Yeah. So if you
DNB
want
is
more
the
dance
tunes.
floor, get into someone like Subsonic or Synergy because they'll help with your palate and your taste. And then another big name, I would say, can't think of one right now. Lensman. Yeah, because liquid is also very digestible as a newcomer.
Yeah.
And Lensman is probably one of the second generation OGs of liquid drum and bass. Super melodic, but also very dance floor. A bit more underground. Look up Caliber for liquid drum
Caliber.
and bass.
Wow.
He makes really smooth, soulful, like funk and soul sampled drum and bass.
You can even look at like the big players like Hospitality Records,
Yeah.
Hospital Records, a big one.
Yeah, Hospital Records.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Hospital Records.
Ram Records.
If you want to go
for-
deep, D Bridge is one of
Yeah,
the
D-Bridge, man.
D Bridge is one of the legends and very deep, also very techno influence. If you're into techno and you like drum and bass, check out D Bridge because he experiments with the sounds.
And if you like 140, he's like really known for the roughage sound, which is like
Mhm.
super similar to 140 in terms of sound design.
I think
Yeah.
he's playing in Toronto, but this episode might come out after. I think he plays,
Yeah,
but he's coming
yeah.
May 30th.
Yeah, and
yeah.
also I probably want to expose the audience to more jungle. So probably entry level jungle is a artist named Clips.
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 Really
No, Clips is a jump up artist.
jump
so-
up, but he makes some proper
Yeah.
rolling jungle. Let's say.
Yeah. Samurai breaks.
Yeah, yeah.
Napes.
Yeah, if
Those
you
are-
want to get
yeah.
deep, Napes. Yeah, Napes is sick. Yeah.
Nice.
We can keep naming.
Yeah,
man.
we
It's
have-
keep
just
naming.
like we just
But-
got
Yeah, we have playlists for each style.
We'll
Liquid.
share playlists
Yeah,
that
Yeah.
STRANJAH and SZETO have, and
Yeah.
definitely just dive in.
and if
Yeah.
you
Best
like
thing is I
if
just
you
go
if you
ahead
want to like start a conversation with either me and him, honestly the best thing you can do is just start talking about like what artists we like. We can just keep on going forever
Yeah.
because
We could do an entire episode on
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
We're doing
and
an
then-
episode
Yeah,
right
we did an
now.
episode.
He
Yeah.
makes videos.
Yeah.
And then he always asks me, "Okay, should we include him?" I was like, "No, you should include him as well." I was like, we can only fit. You know how his videos like got like
Yeah,
4
yeah,
frames.
yeah.
Like, you can only put 4. It's like,
Yeah,
nah,
yeah.
you shouldn't include him. But he's influential. But actually, don't forget about him.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah. I
it
love
goes
those
on forever,
conversations.
man.
Yeah.
It
I was
does.
like, oh, I forgot about how much I love about XYZ. You know,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
love those. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what about for a local scene? What event would you guys tell someone to go to?
I'd say in terms of events, I'd look for artists from Toronto.
Mhm.
Polaris comes to mind.
Yeah.
My longtime homie Gremlins. Mr. Brown's a great DJ. Marcus Visionary, a really good DJ. Who am I missing?
Elixir,
yeah.
super talented. You know, Flow
Flo Anastasia and Tier
Killing it.
Cahoot, power duo for drum
Yep.
and bass in Toronto.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mm.
Big wave of vocals with DJing, so like power to them. So like
Yeah,
like
yeah.
newer names,
And these
jump
two.
up,
and
jump
these-
up newer
these two,
names. Who
these
else?
two.
And these two, and
These
these
two,
two.
these two.
We're small time.
We're small
Yeah.
time, man. We're just
Yeah.
small potatoes.
And
We're
for
just-
the newbies, we've talked about a lot of DNB terms. Skanking.
Yeah, skanking comes from I think reggae, right? It's just dancing, hopping from left to right
Yeah.
Yeah.
with your hopping left and right with your foot. Yeah.
And then we talked about it's okay to say fuck off, but it's not really common here. But
Yeah.
for a
Yeah.
local DJ, if you said that to one of these guys, they'd probably
Yeah.
Yeah,
you'd
they
super
appreciate it.
Or
Yeah.
you can just give them a facial expression.
The
usually.
skank face.
Or like pull this most
Yeah,
disgusting, you
the
know.
stink face. Usually the stink face, that means that's a
Yeah.
sick drop, a sick bass line.
And then if you're having fun, obviously finger guns.
Yeah.
You're going, hey.
Yeah, you
let's
can
go.
also do one of these, right?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah
one
that
of
works
these?
too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
F you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Or like, oh yeah, very
yeah.
important one. Don't forget this one. If it is like an emotional moment, banger moment, you know, pull up your lighter, light the
Lighter,
light
yeah,
the
yeah,
lighter,
yeah.
No, yeah.
light the
Bring a
lighter.
lighter.
You see that more at the older shows, I find.
Yeah,
Not
I
so
really
much
want to keep this going because it's a really,
That's important.
it's
Yeah, yeah.
important. If an emotional banger, drop bro, like lighters
Lighter.
up, lighters up,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know.
The rest is history document. I saw people doing that in the
So
theater.
many lighters, bro. It's
I'm like, yo,
crazy.
isn't this a fire hazard? We're in a theater.
Yeah, yeah.
That's jokes.
And dancing in general. Like honestly, I find drum and bass is kind of like, yo, it's more free form. Like don't worry about what people how you look, right? Like
Yeah,
if you just
exactly.
want to sidestep, just want a head nod. There's a I'm known for the sunny where I'm just sitting like this. But you can do this in
Yeah,
drum
you
and
can
bass
do-
and
Yeah,
be
yeah.
totally
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
But like the stepping, I do the stepping in one spot. I just like
yeah.
you get your steps in. So if you
Get your steps in. is
we
crazy,
talk about
yeah.
how raving is intense cardio. If you want your cardio for the week and then some, go to a drum and
Drum
bass.
bass
event.
show,
Yeah.
You will get your steps in for multiple days.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I love like appreciate someone that can really dance the drum and bass. When you can see someone that's like experienced dancing the drum and bass,
Shout
it's a
Eden.
sight. Yeah,
It's an art.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's very free flow.
It's very
Yeah.
free flow, but it's elegant. Like
Yeah,
I find
yeah.
like I can't dance. I tell myself I can't
Same.
dance,
Yeah,
but I can dance the drum and bass.
yeah.
I can't dance the drum and bass.
I can
too.
dance the drum and bass. I can do those circles and everything.
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
done it like back and forth, like
That's
with
cool.
like side step footing.
I need
And
to
I'm
learn
like,
how to do that proper like
Yeah.
shuffling.
oh no,
Yeah,
see,
yeah.
I can't do that, but
I can't do that.
I just like the freeform where I'm just like tilt. It's like I'm pivoting my hips
Yeah,
and my
yeah,
feet
yeah.
are moving.
When you get in that groove and zone, it feels good.
It
doesn't
Yeah,
does.
it does.
Yeah,
it
yeah.
does.
There's
It
nothing
really
like
does.
I can dance.
Yeah,
I really
yeah.
want to learn how to dance to drum and bass. Actually,
Okay,
It's like,
I'll show you.
please,
At least
yeah,
I'll
every
try.
time a banger drops, I always do this. I would grab my mate like this, and just like,
yeah, yeah.
like, I don't know how to dance to the music. You know?
And then, is there any other terms we're missing? I think those covers most of it for like certain terminology for drum
Yeah.
and bass
I
on
think
that.
we went through most of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dub plate,
And-
reload.
Yeah, reload. you know.
Yeah, spin back.
Yeah.
And then we have our national anthems for drum and bass.
Mhm.
Like my Mr. Happy. I said
Dur,
it.
dur,
DNB
dur.
doesn't have lyrics, but
Yep.
that's we just
Mhm.
disproved that it does have lyrics
It
when you know
does.
Mr. Happy.
Yep.
You know Dead Limit. Everyone knows Dead Limit.
yeah.
Tour, my personal favorite.
Yeah, that was a banger
just
too.
just
Yeah,
a
yeah.
hype and like White Flag by Delta
Yeah,
Heavy. Any
that-
other ones you guys have anthems, personal anthems?
Lighter.
Lighter.
It's
Oh yeah.
It samples, was it Godfather? Dun dun.
Yeah.
Love Story. It samples the old 70s movie Love Story. Dun 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 dun
Yeah,
dun
yeah,
dun
yeah.
dun dun.
I've never seen that movie. I'm not that old.
Yeah, yeah.
And then SZETO, anything?
Original Nutter.
Oh, yeah, that's-
Like you national
That one
anthem
never gets old. Yeah.
never gets
Yeah,
old.
yeah.
Like that one's just like timeless, you know.
yeah.
So timeless.
30 years or more.
And
yeah.
then like even like some of the Chasing, like a lot of the Chasing Stairs songs are like anthem,
Yeah,
like,
also Planet Dust by Bad Company.
Planet Dust. Yeah.
Dun, dun, dun.
And then like what's that one by I think it's Bad Company.
Yeah.
Well,
The nine. The nine.
That one.
Oh,
We are proving
da, da, da.
DNB
Trying to
has
Yeah,
lyrics.
Yeah, we'll have to come back to that. Yeah.
That's good. Okay,
Yeah.
to round out this episode, like, where do you guys see our local scene going? Like right now with the developments you guys are seeing.
Yeah, I just want to encourage DJs to keep pushing it. I want to encourage anyone that's interested in drum and bass to join the community. I think we're at a state where growth is important. So like anyone that's interested in participating, because it's a very grassroots community and everyone plays a different role, whether you're a promoter, whether you're a DJ, whether you're an MC, or whether you're a partier or whatever it is, right? If you love drum and bass and you want to get involved, find out, reach out to someone, because
Yeah.
I think there's potential in Toronto to be as big as it once was in the 90s.
Yeah, and I think our North American scene's still growing. Like, didn't talk about Rampage coming to North America.
Yeah.
Even though the lineup's my personal not favorite, I do appreciate because we know DNB is really popular in Europe
Mhm.
and dubstep not as much. So I appreciate Rampage always fusing the two and covering all like Rampage open air. That lineup is
Yeah,
insane.
ridiculous.
It's
Yeah.
actual insanity.
Ridiculous.
It's
Yeah.
actually like you
so
get
ridiculous.
like you're like, who do I see? You have so many options.
Yeah.
I mean, it's cool that it's coming to Montreal for sure.
Yeah.
Lineup, I mean, they have some
Well,
staples.
unfortunately, it's the same weekend as D-Bridge, and I personally have never seen D-Bridge, and I
Yeah.
feel like as a legend and a staple he is in
Yeah.
the scene, I'm like, I would have to go see D-Bridge.
That's a huge
Yeah.
cultural.
It's just kind of like, it's
Yeah.
too like, it's almost like you're going into a history lesson.
Yeah.
Listening sonically how the
Yeah.
music has evolved
Yeah.
throughout
Yeah.
these years.
As I said, for anyone, as I said, We had D-Bridge, and then if anyone wants to go, not a bad event to check out.
Yeah.
I'm hearing rumors that Rebel is also going to book more. That's what we talked about earlier.
Oh, that'd be
Inc.
great.
Yeah, that would be
Yeah.
great.
So we'll
There's
see.
some,
We'll
also some
see.
great shows in
Yeah.
June. I heard are coming out that I have to keep quiet for now, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
But like the DNB show, it's definitely, you know,
Yeah,
like
it's
DNB scene's
growing.
definitely growing. What I want to say is, you know, it doesn't matter what scene you came from. If you want to DJ drum bass, do it. Just do it. Just do it. You know,
Mhm.
try it out first. Try it out.
It's
If
a
it
lot
work-
of fun. It
if
looks a lot of
yeah,
fun.
it works. If it works, it works. It doesn't. Just play another
Yeah,
genre. It doesn't
exactly,
matter.
yeah.
Just do it. Don't feel free to reach out to people, you know, politely, and ask for feedbacks, and you know, just stay humble and just keep grinding, keep working. Honestly, a lot of the people that like reach out to me, super nice people, you know, and like shout out, you know, Eugene, you know, great kid, knows like has a crazy passion in drum bass. Shout out like Simon, Elo Z's, like two of the guys I met recently.
We support the collectives on this podcast quite a bit. If you're new, one of these collectives, you'll find someone who spins drum and bass.
Exactly,
You can connect
exactly.
with them.
Like it's all like just reach out, you know, just if you have the passion, firm it, just chase it, you know.
And just to round out, any I guess final hot takes. Anything that's bothered you? We've talked about a bunch about the scene, but anything that's bothered you guys about the scene? I think we covered a lot of topics
Yeah,
here,
we
so it's
covered
been
a lot,
it's been
Yeah, the songs are getting shorter and shorter. I'd
Yeah,
like to see.
ADHD.
I'd like to see the songs get longer again, where there's like a journey and growth and development.
Yeah, that's a good
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
Yeah, I
It
miss
doesn't help
longer
when
songs.
most
Yeah.
of the sets are 1 hour. So
Yeah.
I would like to play some longer sets.
Mm.
I would like to do an hour and a half and two, because I always like I've got so many blends that every time after my set I only play a quarter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't get a proper.
No,
Yeah.
you know,
We talk about journey sets, but we don't get that much in drum and bass. I
Mhm.
find it'd be
there
actually
is
kinda,
journey sets.
there is journey sets, but
Mhm.
no, it's not like no one really does it locally as much
No,
as with.
because no one like unfortunately here's, you know, like you either got the new kids that just gone to drum bass. Right now we're at like a really awkward position. Because like, you know, a lot of people think I throw events as well, so they send me mixes and stuff. So the phenomenon that like the phenomenon I kind of can see right now is there's a huge gap in drum and bass music right now in Toronto. You have the old people reaching out to you to get booked because they see the opportunity of like, you know, drum and bass is coming back and they're like, oh, I used to play with this, I used to play with that, I used to play with this. Not even sending you a mix and just asking you to put them on the lineup. I normally just politely tell them to fuck off, like, you know, just like as in like there's a lot of people that are young sending mixes coming to events to support us. I'm not gonna care about just because you roll with XYZ before I was born. Like I'm not gonna give a
Yeah.
flying fuck about that. And also, you know, don't think the younger generation is all good, all fine, you know. It's those guys that are coming from the dubstep scene, and then, you know, I've heard so many, like, no offense to anyone, it's all part of the journey, you know, it's all they're new to the music. I was like that. I was once like that too.
Mm.
Sending me mixes and it's all featuring the same songs almost. It's like almost I listened to the same mix like 5 times, you know. So there's a big gap between that.
Yeah.
And then, but those younger guys, like I really rate them, is they come out and support our events. They come see me play. They come see other people play.
yeah.
They support the community. They make friends.
Mhm.
I've seen so many of them branch out. I haven't even booked them yet. Someone else booked them already. You know, they send me mixes. May not be the best. Just like how when I first started, may not be the best. But at least I came out. You know, one fact about me, after COVID, I found out about the drum bass scene. I went to every single drum bass shows that happened in Toronto.
Mhm.
Bassline nights, anything, for a whole damn year before I got booked.
Mm.
You have to be present in the
You
scene.
have to.
Yeah.
It's
You have to
not-
care about the scene. In order,
Yeah, like you can do all the social media work, but for drum and bass at least, I can say just come to shows and talk to promoters. Like we're bored working sometimes, you know, just counting doors is not fun, man. You know, just come talk to us, you know, say like you DJ and stuff. Just that will get you an opportunity. It's so much better than getting to DM. So many people sending me mixes, and like everyone surprisingly tells me the same thing. Oh, I'm really good at drum and bass. Really good at mixing this. They all say the same thing. But that what makes you stand out is you come out and support the community.
Yeah.
You know, that's like one tip that I can give people. And like I feel like we need to bridge this gap soon because like, yo, honestly, so many people from the like older generation, shout out EEVC, like a bunch of like, you know, supporters I met since the very first day, they're all like, 40 in their 40s, like
Yeah.
they're like not young, but they support me, I feel like that's really neat to, rather than eliminating the young guys.
Yeah, shouts out to all the promoters. They invest in the young talent.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
that's what's gonna keep the scene alive.
Yeah.
It's true.
Check out who are the new kids doing it and give them opportunity.
They might not be the best, but
Yeah.
That's the one big problem in the entire community is
Yeah.
that the same people keep getting booked over and over again.
Yeah.
And yeah, I get it, but it's just like, hey, there's someone here
Yeah.
who's like, this is where like
Yeah.
collectives are spawning because it's like, hey, we got to run our own events now
Mhm.
because this
Yeah.
is the way that we have to do it to showcase our
Mhm.
talent.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So it's really, really cool.
But yeah, speaking of like, feel free to send me mixes or anything, like I'm more than happy to help, as long as you approach it with the right attitude, and that will get you far.
Yeah.
Like just be
Yeah.
humble, stay humble, like
Okay.
I'm still a very humble guy. I still think I'm nobody. People come up to me, oh, you're so good, but like I'm still learning. I'm still doing a lot of things. I'm grateful for every single opportunities I've had and seen. And I feel like, everyone should be grateful to. And, just keep working hard and don't be afraid to network in real life,
Nice. With
Wise
Well
words.
I
said.
can't say anything
Yeah,
more
yeah.
than that. That was really good. Anything you don't have to share too much. Anything in store for 2025, 2026?
Yeah. We're just gonna make more music. Yeah.
We have a lot of music coming out, like
Mhm.
Collabs too?
like collabs, singles. You know,
Yeah.
he's always been like a great mentor. Carrying me under the wing. But like for me to truly be a good producer and like learn the craft, I'm gonna do more of my own stuff. Like I'm just like we can still make music together,
Mhm.
but
That's a teardrop
This-
moment.
I've
for
been
Yeah,
pushing
yeah.
this
The
guy.
proud moment,
I've been
yeah.
pushing
The
this
proud-
guy
the
for the
proud dad
longest
moment.
time.
I
to-
know, I
you-
know.
To
I
stand
know.
up on your own 2 feet as a producer.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because I want to, as much as like, I would love to have a feature
Yeah.
on the title next to the track.
Mm.
But this guy, he came up with everything. Like I was there, gave him the ear, and was just another person to give feedback. I sprinkle some ideas,
Mhm.
arrangement here and there. But this guy always pulls up with the maddest blueprint of a track. I just hear the potential. And I want to be like that one.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Man, here's the thing. This guy brings in a lot of good ideas as well, and that's why
It goes back to the youth.
Yeah,
You gotta
yeah.
embrace what the youth are
I
doing.
mean, as much as you say you've learned a lot from me, I've also learned a lot from you.
Wow.
This is such a. I mean, I could just end the episode right
Yeah,
there.
You,
yeah,
guys.
you give me a new, a new perspective on the music.
Yeah.
Jack has a really fresh perspective on the music, and he's really opened up my eyes.
And I'm okay to be transparent,
Mhm.
like I'm okay to let you all know, like I'm not his level yet. I'm still a very
But he's
new
gonna get
producer,
there.
Yeah.
like I'm
gotta
still
grind,
very
man.
new.
Just
I
gotta
don't want
grind.
I don't want to be like hopping on other people's success bandwagon, etc., etc. I want to,
He's gonna get there on his own 2 feet, but he will get there because he's super passionate. You did it with DJing. You're gonna do it with production. You're
Yeah.
already learning super fast. So.
Finger crossed, finger crossed.
Any social plugs? Final social plugs for you guys?
No, you know how to find us on.
We'll have
all our
everything in the
social
description,
media.
too.
You know how to
Yeah,
find us, yeah.
Yeah.
As I said, always approachable at Raves.
Mhm.
Always up for a conversation. So definitely
Yeah.
that. Well, we appreciate you guys coming on. We've learned a lot. We
Mhm.
hope you guys have learned a lot.
I learned
Especially
a
with,
lot.
Thank you for the opportunity for us.
Oh, yeah, no
to
problem.
Less
No.
yap,
Yeah, as I
Much
said,
needed,
with
much
the podcast, you don't get a chance to talk about the thing we love the most, right? As
Exactly.
much,
Yeah.
especially with our scene, especially what drives us to do what we do. So we appreciate both you guys coming on.
Well, we appreciate you for having us,
Thank
and
you very
hopefully we can
much.
come back.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yes.
100%. So yeah, guys, thanks for tuning into this week's episode. If you enjoyed it and want to support us, please give us a share or share with a fellow raver. Like and subscribe as well. If you have any comments, leave us in the video. Questions for these guys, their DMs are always open, or you can leave it in the video comment or
Yeah.
Spotify. This podcast is audience funded, so if you do want to donate a little bit, we have a link below. If you guys are looking for new pairs of earplugs, we have an affiliate with Hears. If you group buy, it's a big. They're actually from the Netherlands.
Oh,
So they're-
nice.
So if you group buy it, you get a pretty good discount using our code. They partnered with some of the brands in Europe, like some hard techno brands.
Yep.
And if you just want a single one, we also have a partnership with Zound. Use our discount code for 10% off, additional for whatever sale they have.
You definitely need earplugs for drum and bass.
Yes,
100%.
you need
Yeah.
earplugs for everything. As I said, all of us probably use earplugs, so definitely get them. But that's it for this episode. We'll see you guys in the next one.
Cheers, bye.
Bye.